with a vengeance. Coming.
I want to fucking get drunk.
Repeat after me.
You don't fucking care.
I don't fucking care.
I don't need your shit.
You don't need my shit.
Fuck. Cow! Fuck! Oh, fuck!
Fuck you and fuck this! Die, you fucking bitch! You fucking bitch! I'm gonna fucking kill you! I'm gonna fucking rip your fucking throat! Fuck! 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 Fuck you, motherfucker! Fuck! I'm Michael Myers' sister! I'm so fucked! Here's my fucked up life.
How'd you like to be fucked by the Frankenstein monster, huh?
7 foot of fucked hard.
Back the fuck off! You know what, if I hear that fucking phrase one more fucking time, I mean, she just fucking sits there in her fucking leather chair and judges me like she's fucking God.
I'll fucking blow 2 holes right through your fucking mask.
This is fucking insane.
What the fuck are you gonna do, jackhole?
Tell him that Angel says fuck you!
Cow!
Stupid, slimy dick.
Bitch.
Motherfucker!
Who fucking who for you?
Fucking dead!
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
Cow!
Hi, I'm Scout Taylor Compton from Rob Zombie's Halloween, and you're listening to the Hysteria Continues.
And indeed you are. And do you know what this means? I don't know if you could hear that, but that means that's ice clinking in glass full of vodka
You have
martinis.
ice in your glass, Justin?
I do, yes.
You've eyes in your glass. I've got a nose in mine.
Hey, guys. Did I hear?
Oh, well, as you can hear, yes, we are back for the annual Drunkcast. So some of us have had a bit of a head start. So Nathan has introduced us to a new cocktail. Could you, before we came on air, you told us about the cocktail you'd invented. Would you mind sharing it?
It's red wine with some rum, and I top it off with fruit punch. Now, you may laugh at me, but Justin, this is 100% vegan. Vegan, Justin.
Yes.
Vegan.
Capital V.
Do you understand that, Justin?
Well, is the wine vegan?
Well, yes. It's vegan wine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just made of grapes and whatever else they throw into wine.
Grapes and sugar and shit.
Well, I don't know that there's sugar in it because it don't taste that sweet to me. If I'm being,
well, you gotta look and see how they prepare the ingredients because sometimes they may use animal processing to do such things.
There might be beef in your wine.
Was our Rob Zombie Halloween 1 podcast a drunk cast?
No, we didn't we do Halloween Resurrection as a drunk cast?
Halloween Resurrection. Poop briskets. I didn't know that.
You would be rubbish in one of Zombies films, wouldn't you, Nathan? You'd be running around going,
"Oh, it would be total rubbish." I wouldn't be able to say the dialogue that Rob Zombie wrote for me. I'd be like, "Oh, poo."
You'd be running around going, "Oh,
that fudging stuff to me."
Oh, horse feathers! It's Michael Myers.
Horse feathers. It's Michael Myers.
Why are you British?
Oh, was that a British accent? Did I do a good job, Eric?
You did a job.
Well, it's supposed to be a good job. Now I'm all whoa.
Nathan,
thank you for paying attention to me.
Nathan, before you pass out, could you tell us the name of your cocktail?
I call it the Nathonian.
Well, it sounds unique.
Well, yes. I mean, everything about me is full of charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
And red wine and rum.
Yes.
And red wine and roomage. But I also drink sangrias. Have you ever had a sangria, Justin?
Well, I do live in Spain.
Well, I don't understand what that means.
It's a Spanish drink, Nathan.
Oh, so you've had it. That's the implication, right?
Yeah, well, yes, because it's just red wine and fruit punch, isn't it?
Do you like it? Because I actually like sangria. I think that it kind of gives a classy feeling to my Southern American palate.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for understanding what I said just then, because I didn't.
You guys can blame me for Nathan, by the way.
You can, because Justin hyped me up to drink. Gosh darn it!
I'm just talking about overall, on the show in general.
For the last 10 years.
Joseph's the reason I'm even on this show. At first, I wasn't going to be. I was just going to be a guest. But I whined to Justin, and this is some background information, everybody. I whined until I got on the show. It was all me whining that actually got me on the show.
This isn't actually true, actually.
Experience.
Yes, and if I hadn't whined, though, you guys wouldn't have heard some of the movies that I picked for us.
This isn't true. Actually, I just asked you to be on the show. Did you actually whine?
Well,
I think I whined at some point because I was like, I want to be on the show.
I don't think that's true. I think he's making that up.
Yeah, I think you're making that up. Because I asked you on for April Fool's Day, and you're like, cool. And then I was like, well, we'll just keep you on.
This is what was going through my mind. I was thinking to myself how cool it was and how I wish I could be a long-term part of it. And so I became a long-term part of it because you guys liked me. You really, really liked me. I feel like Sally Field.
Well, in a beautiful bit of synchronicity, you were whining, and now you're full of wine. So it's
a different kind of wine, though.
All comes full circle.
To you guys, let's just be clear.
Yes. Well,
yes, and you're very good at rummaging up obscure movies for us as well.
Did you guys miss me for our last two shows? Because I really didn't want to not be there for them.
Sorry,
I love Alone in the Dark.
That was meant to go after Eric's
one of my favorite
rum jokes.
I thought it was for Nathan.
Well, no, it was my my timing was off. But no, we did miss you, Nathan. We did miss you.
Thank you, because I'm a very paranoid person. So whenever I miss an episode, I think to myself that you guys think, oh, well, we could do this show without him.
Well, Nathan, I don't want to distress you, but I did record a little snippet of Justin when he found out that you weren't able to record.
Justin!
That's harsh.
Why would you say that?
Yeah,
Justin!
It wasn't me. Come on, Nathan, come on. We shouldn't be getting to the ugly crying part of the show just yet.
Well, I'm not ugly crying. I'm just trying to understand why you thought it was a hallelujah moment that I wasn't here for Alone in the Dark.
I didn't. I think you know where that clip's from, and it wasn't anything to do with me. It's just Erik being naughty.
Okay.
But not nice.
Right, so I am like, okay. Then in that case, you guys are all right.
Oh.
You're as good as taffy candy. Vegan taffy candy.
Thank you. Well, we are covering, in case, just imagine if this was the first show that if someone comes to the show and someone said, oh, I listened to their commentaries, I want to check out their podcast, and then So I will say that we are covering on this Drunkcast Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, Long Threatens, and finally becoming a reality. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think,
guys, we got to milk it because this is the last Rob Zombie Halloween movie that we have.
Yes, that could be a mixed blessing.
And that was perfect timing. Who did that?
Oh, John Baker, I love you.
So anyway, well, let's just come back to Nathan in a minute. But I just want to find out how we're doing. Joseph, are you imbibing tonight?
Yes, I tried to do a little bit of arabesque, but I completely went for it and did the Demetri shawl. Not that I'm into that sort of thing.
That's from the ballet episode of The Simpsons.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, then, what would the Hysteria Continues podcast be without a Simpsons reference that I don't get?
That you don't get.
Exactly. Yeah. So, well, I'm glad to hear that. Erik.
Just say you are doing yourself a complete disservice not watching at least the first 9 seasons.
Yeah, at least watch the classic Simpsons, Justin. I think you would find it very classy.
Well, I did watch The Simpsons. I did watch a lot of The Simpsons, but I just didn't. I don't have an encyclopedic memory for Simpson quotes. So,
yes, of course. Hey, you guys said bad things about Alice in the last podcast, and Justin told me that, or Joseph told me that you did. So don't think that I've forgotten about it, because I remember it.
Well, could we?
Alice is alive.
As an aside, Nathan, what is your take on the Friday 13th uncut footage of Alice's death scene?
Okay. First of all, I disagree about death scene, but I think the footage is amazing. And I think that the footage of all of the deaths, and to me, especially Russell's death, where he gets his throat slit when he's hanging upside down, I thought that was amazing. And I think it is a crime against nature that it was cut for the theatrical release. I mean, what is wrong with showing more blood? Is that going to mess up the kids any worse than showing little blood? I almost think that showing more blood would show the more realistic aspects of the suffering of death. So they should have kept it in the film.
Yeah.
And that is from a moral standpoint.
Cutting Russell Todd's death scene, that led to climate change right there.
Yeah.
And then Marta Kober and what's the guy's name? Do you guys remember the guy's name that played
Randolph?
Jeff? Bill Randolph. When they got impaled sexually, I'm like, do you conservative Christians not want the evils of sex to be shown? I mean, to me, that would show you that sex is bad. And I think that would be something that could even be shown in churches.
Fantastic!
Thank you. I rant very well when I've had a few snifters of alcohol. Let's just be honest. I've had a few snifters.
Have you? Are you sure? I didn't think you'd started drinking yet.
Yeah, neither did I.
No. I mean, I just had my first sip of vino with grapes that were feet stomped, Justin. I'm sure you find those classy.
And sexy.
So, I mean, God only knows what's going to happen when you have your second Nathanian.
But, Justin, you have to understand that we agreed that it would be a drunk cast. Am I bad for being one of the only ones that got pre-drunk?
Well, we didn't agree. I thought we were drinking throughout the podcast, so I didn't know you were front-loading.
This is my worry, Justin. This is my worry. I have to nurse the drinks because I can't drink too much or I'll throw up, and nobody wants to hear that on the podcast. So I'm like,
oh my God, I hope it happens, and I'm going to leave it in the episode if it does.
That'd be brilliant.
No, you won't. You will not.
I will. Watch me.
You will not. You won't. All right. But anyway, the point that I was trying to make is valid. So let's just move on.
Well, if you're playing along at home, every time Nathan dry retches, have a swig of alcohol.
Well, I'm not dry retching now. I'm actually being extremely classy. I feel like the actress in Hollywood Boulevard.
What?
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
Oh. Did you just burp?
That wasn't me.
Knock off of mute. You probably heard the last
He's the one that always burps on this show. I do not belch. If I have to belch, I mute my microphone and belch in a very nice, proper manner.
I think it's absolutely vile, and I wish you'd leave.
Hey, Eric, can you put some Daniela?
Yes, you need to belch.
Yeah.
You whore! Go fuck yourself! I hate you!
Oh my God. How am I going to edit all this together?
But Eric, you did feel bad for Daniela's sister, didn't you? Because she didn't do anything wrong.
Well, she made love to Fabian.
But still, Fabian was her boyfriend.
Yeah, I think it's her husband, actually.
Or her husband. So I'm like,
totally
all she did was have sex with her own husband.
Yeah, I know.
Did she deserve to suffer for that? No.
According to Daniela, she did.
Yeah.
I've got this mental image of you sat there in a turban looking like Gloria Swanson drinking your Nathanian.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing, Justin, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing green gym shorts, a blue T-shirt, and I have a fancy looking glass that I put my Nathanian drink inside.
Well, there's a mental image for the listeners.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay. Joseph.
Okay. Well, let's before this because we haven't even got to Halloween 2 yet, but obviously we did need some self-medication. I must admit, I did have to fight the urge to drink whilst I was watching that. And actually, I realised I'd only watched half of it before. I didn't remember any of the second half. Either I blotted it out of my memory, or I think I remember watching half of it and then turning it off halfway through. So it's going to be interesting to see if our opinions have changed on Mr. Zombie's sequel. But before we do that, let's have a quick chat about if we've been watching anything we want to talk about, to try and keep the show some semblance of a structure. Nathan, have you seen anything you want to tell us about apart from the bottom of a glass?
First,
probably hasn't seen the bottom of the glass. It's probably so big.
How dare you both? And secondly, I watched Alone in the Dark, but I was sick, so I couldn't be there for the show. I'm very sorry. But I love Alone in the Dark. I think it is amazing. I did not guess the twist within the frame of the film. I had no idea that it was going to be somebody that was in there helping the family. Now, that is craziness.
Had you not seen it before?
Craziness.
No, wait a minute. Had you not seen this before?
No, I had seen it before, but I'm just talking about the first time I watched it. I had no idea that had happened, and that was insane to me. It has a great jump scare, too. The dream sequence. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Did you guys talk about it?
We
Where
did.
The one character is dreaming, and something pops up. That made Grant jump into the floor, like in terror. So it was amazing. I loved it very, very much. I think the movie has a lot of fantastic acting. I loved that the killers kind of show up the one killer shows up as a messenger guy, and the wife has absolutely no idea she's dealing with a psychopath. I mean, that is terrifying to me. Can you imagine if you were the wife and you had someone that was like psychotically evil right in front of you, acting like they were delivering a letter, and you had no idea? That would be the scariest effing ass that you've ever dealt with in your life.
I'm shaking here.
Okay, because it would be scary. But anyway, that was my thoughts on Alone in the Dark. And I love the artwork. The axe with the house in the foreground. I mean, that is the stuff that nightmares are made of. So it's very scary. But aside from that, I also watched Dolly Dearest, which I told Erik is one of my favorite picks of his. And Erik, you didn't respond to that.
Oh, did I not? Oops.
No, you guys were ignoring me so much on our messages. Now, granted, it's because I say a bunch of stupid stuff.
Are you picking rhubarb again?
I understand. No. I understand because I say a bunch of stupid stuff. I get it. But Dolly Dearest, the dolly is scary. And if you think of it in terms of Mommy Dearest, she is also abusive, which is not good. I mean, abusing this family and like possessing this little girl to be mean to her family, that's not nice. That's not cool. But we like horror. And the reason we like horror is because people do stuff that is not cool. So this doll did stuff that's not cool because she's kind of demonic. But it was incredible. It was so good. Erik, I had so much fun watching this movie. I kept thinking about...
I feel like I directed it myself now.
Well, I feel like, what if Denise Crosby, like from Pet Sematary, was in Dolly Dearest? I mean,
well, she was in Dolly Dearest.
But is it just as, serious? Are the films just as serious with each other? Or is Dolly Dearest maybe a more cheesy version? I mean, I don't even know, because I think that she does such a good job in both films. And that is something that I think is a testament to any good actor or actress. When you can't tell a difference when they're doing something crazy like a Beethoven versus like something like a movie that I would have made in the 90s, like Old Federal Massacre, then you know you got a good actress. And that's all I got to say about that.
Are you talking about Beethoven?
The fuck?
Are you talking about Beethoven, the composer, or the dog movie?
The composer, but I meant like somebody acting in one of his operas.
He didn't write operas. He wrote music.
Well, no, but I'm sure his stories could be turned into an opera. Romeo, Julieta.
Okay, what is Nathan on about?
What the fuck, dude?
Fine. I won't say anything else till Halloween 2.
God damn, you were out the ether.
I won't say anything else till Halloween 2, but in all honesty, I do feel that I've made a valid point, and you guys are just focusing on the drunkenness that I am pertaining. Oh, God! Somebody's in this house with me! My husband was standing right behind me. I didn't even see him. He scared me. What? The fuck was that caterwauling?
Hey, he said F.
I heard
He said
that.
the F word. That's
when said
podcast.
Oh my God, this is going to be the best episode ever. I'm just going to proclaim that right now, and you guys
You know what? I blame all you guys for making this a drunk cast. I was just trying to do what I'm supposed to do as a podcast host. You know why? Because I feel like you guys think I don't put enough thought into this podcast with the background information, but a lot of times I seriously just can't find any. I don't like subscribe to 50,000 newsletters that Justin does, and he finds all these amazing facts, and I'm like, whoa, is that real? Well, it's coming from Justin, so it's got to be real.
Well, he's probably got a microfiche in one of his litter trays.
I mean, but Justin also says Susie is great, like singing.
Justin says a lot of weird things.
Yes, I mean, I agree with Erik on Fella Day, and you guys disagree on that. So, I mean, what can we do?
Yes.
Anyway, next person. Let's move on.
Okay. Well, thank you, Nathan. Let me know when the spaceship lands. Erik,
We're not
how about
in
you?
Heathers, Justin.
Erik, have you watched anything of note?
I have been watching some after-school specials on YouTube because I've been listening to Amanda Reyes' Made-for-TV Mayhem podcast with young Nathan Johnson on it. A slightly less inebriated version of Nathan is on the podcast. So they were covering a couple of movies. One was called Diary of a Teenage Shoplifter, which has Catherine Cammy in it from Sleepaway Camp and Silent Madness. And the other one was called The Drug Knot, wasn't it? Which had Kim Myers from Freddy's Revenge. She's in that one. And they're both those sort of histrionic, you don't do drugs, kids, don't shoplift, kids movies. But they both have quite serious endings, and they're quite dated and funny. But in terms of horror, I did get my copy of the Friday the 13th box set, which is here beside me. And I've been... Sorry?
That Made-for-TV Mayhem show. I thought you were on it.
I have been on it in the past, yeah. Talking about...
after-school special one. I'm so sorry. Joseph, yes. Edit this out, and we will move on.
I think we're leaving.
Yes.
I'm going to be on. I'm going to be on the show with you this month, Nathan.
I won't be drunk, Justin. I promise, because I'm never drink for Amanda's podcast.
Okay.
She's too professional.
Yes, I only drink for the podcast that I'm supposed to be drunk for, which was this one.
Well, that's you've followed the instructions to a letter. Apart from the well, I think next time we do a drunk cast, we'll all kind of start drinking at a certain point.
Yes, I think that's for the best.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. You guys are drinking as soon as you start the show. I pre-drank. I think that's the problem. And I've totally messed up the joie de vivre of this podcast.
No, you haven't. You've enhanced it.
It's perfect, Nathan. It's perfect.
Okay. Well, I'm going to mute myself and you talk.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I got the Friday the 13th box set. It arrived. I specified super duper uber fast shipping, so it arrived the day after it was released in the States, which I couldn't but quite believe. I was going through each box to look to make sure each disc was correct, because there have been reports of missing discs or duplicate discs, whatever. And I had in my hand the disc for Friday the 13th, the 2009 remake, and my other half said, listen, why don't you try the Blu-ray player there under the telly? It might be multi-region. I don't think it is, but give it a whirl. So I put in the remake, and lo and behold, it played, and I got so excited. I was like, prepare yourself for 16 discs of Friday the 13th realness. And so I said, okay, first things first, I'm going to watch some of the extras on Friday the 13th Part 2. So I put the disc in, invalid region. Every disc is region locked except the remake from 2009.
No, Erik.
Yes.
No.
Now, don't despair too much, because I do have a multi-region player back in my house in Dublin, but I'm just not there at the moment and probably won't be for another month or so. So I just have to sit and look at the pictures for another 4 weeks. But at least I have it. So, and that's my little story of Friday the 13th.
Excellent. Mine's not turned up yet. It's going to be another week and a half, I think. But I have. So I've got a cat hacking up fur balls in the background. I have got.
Which is exactly what Nathan's going to be doing shortly.
I know. So I'm just eating an olive. My Friday 13th Part 3 3D is region locked, and I have basically I've found a way to play it now, and I can project it through my projector. So I will be watching things poke out in my face like Erik does every Saturday night.
Reviews of Part 3's 3D print are very positive from what I've read.
Excellent.
Oh, Justin, then you need to respond to us on Facebook Messenger, because here's the thing. The guys don't really know, or the fans, which is women too. I'm sorry, I'm not leaving you out. But the general fan base for our show doesn't know that we chat on Facebook once in a while. And Justin, I'm hoping that you will let us know if the 3D is worth it. That was the whole purpose of me talking. So
I will
tell me.
I will. Yes, I will.
You want to ignore me?
Well, when do I ignore you, Nathan? I don't know where this has come from.
Nobody does, but I'm just saying, like, I just want to make sure that you don't forget.
We didn't respond to him when he said that Dolly Dearest was one of his favorite picks for the Patreon.
Oh, I see.
Oh, that's true. Erik, I was especially disappointed that you didn't respond because you picked it.
Yeah, well, you see, we chat so much on Messenger. It's not just we occasionally chat. We chat so much on Messenger that sometimes you might miss a comment.
That's true, because there's been times that you guys have said something and, like, I've not been able to check it, and I check and it's like 20 messages later. So I can't really respond to something that happened like 2 hours ago. So all our fans need to realize that that kind of stuff happens. We're actually a very close-knit podcast. We all think that each other is amazing. That's all you need to know, fans. You're awesome.
Thank you, Nathan.
Nathan, that is so true.
Yes.
Excuse me, I'm telling a joke.
I'm just going to let everyone know who's listening. Everyone who's listening, before you get to your joke, Erik, I just want to let everyone know who's listening that I do not intend to edit any of this. I'm going to sync it and master it, but everything you're hearing is everything that's happening. So enjoy.
Or why would you not edit now? I can't help it if I'm tipsy. Okay, I cannot help that because I don't get tipsy. I don't get tipsy very often.
I want everyone to hear. I want everyone to hear Nathan on this episode.
No, they're
going to hear it.
I'm a lightweight, everybody. And you know what? I think I'm getting on people's nerves, so I'm going to mute again. And Justin, it's all yours.
You're not getting on our nerves, Nathan. I think it's
marveling at how crazy you are. This is awesome, actually.
Well, I felt like I was being annoying.
No,
I'm trying not to be annoying.
No, we're going to leave it as it is, Nathan. But even when your husband takes you roughly from behind.
Justin, why are you so sure that I'm the bottom? Okay.
Oh my God.
We are cycling.
That's not fair. Wes just responded to that, and I don't want to understand the response. So,
what did he say?
Let's just be honest here. Erik's a top, Justin's versatile, and I am up in the air.
Your legs.
Justin! That's not fair. You cannot say that on this show. This is a G-rated show.
It's not. We're just about to cover the fucking Rob Zombie masterpiece.
Justin, F. And I
think we stumbled onto some magic here. Let's just keep going. Let's just see what happens.
Okay.
I'm just.
All right.
It sounds a bit like Lois from Family Guy.
I'm muting. I'm muting right now. You guys can talk, and I will mute.
I'm just amazed.
Was going to be. Oh.
No, I'm just going to say very quickly, I'm just amazed that Nathan is cycling through the drunk cycle so quickly.
I know.
I love you, angry. I love you all.
The acceptance phase, Justin.
He's going to be at the vomiting and going, I'm so sorry phase. How
are you guys not drunk for a drunk cast? That's my question. How are you not drunk for a drunk cast?
Well, I've just finished a double martini. I'm going to get myself another little drink in a minute.
Justin, you seem sober. I'm the one that seems ridiculous.
Maybe he's like very drunk like me, but you're just like off the stratosphere.
I am so sorry. And I have a volume.
Stop apologizing.
Yeah, don't
no. I have a volume module on my microphone. So I am voluming myself when I think you guys need to move the show forward. So that way I'm not being too aggravating. I've been very persistent about this. And you know what? Right now I'm voluming myself. So you guys push the show forward. Wow.
Well, thank you. So, while pushing forwards, Erik, was there anything else you want to tell us about?
Yeah, I was going to do that hilarious joke but the moment is gone. Nathan said, we are a close-knit family. And I said, that is so true. So, S-E-W, true. Like knit. So,
Erik, I
shut
think
up.
that is hilarious.
Thank you.
Thank you for that amazing joke.
I haven't got any knickers on.
Ooh, me either.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to get through this together. I think I'm going to need another drink in a minute. Joseph, how about you?
Joseph? Are you still there?
Joseph?
Yes. Sorry, I was actually trying to get up to go pee, but I didn't realize it was my turn. The only thing I've been watching lately is I've been catching up on the stuff I've missed on the TV show True Blood. I basically just did a rewatch with it. I'm actually caught up to where I'd left off, but I'll just ramble through this real quick. I really like this show. It gets progressively sillier as it goes along. But I don't know. I just like all the characters. I like all the gore. I mean, this small little town is just like home to all of these creatures and bad guys, and it's just so silly and so preposterous. And I love it. I mean, I'm talking past its, way past its expiration date. But hey, I gave it up a long time ago, and I really shouldn't have, because it's just a lot of fun. It's just a big stupid soap opera, and I'm enjoying myself with it. So there you go.
I love True Blood. What season are you on?
I'm on season 6.
Is that the witch season?
No, this is where Bill is like fused with another the god vampire Lilith or something. It's
Okay.
really.
In all honesty, it gets dumber as it goes on, but it also gets more entertaining.
It's completely stupid, but it's a lot.
Sounds
of
like
fun.
Nathan.
Yeah.
You get more stupid.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult, Erik. Do you want to?
Well, you get more stupid. You get more stupid the drunker you get, but you also get more entertaining.
Oh, okay. So I'm not annoying. I thought I was
No.
You're not.
I'm
You're not
muting again.
You're not annoying, Nathan. Are you drinking your cocktail for a straw?
Well, yes. I mean, straws are classy. I learned that when I watched stuff that was set in Great Britain, Justin.
Yeah,
everyone's straws.
Really?
Do we?
By the way, everyone, that's the only thing I've watched this week. I'm going to go take a tinkle, so you guys keep talking.
Okay.
But that's all I've watched this week, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
As amazing as it is, Justin, I feel like in all honesty, I mean this as a compliment, not as an insult. But when I see arguments in Great Britain, they still seem so much classier to me than the arguments that I've seen in my own hometown. I don't know if it's an accent thing or if it's just the arguments in my hometown are just dumb. You know what I mean?
I think you need to watch some more YouTube videos of arguments in the UK. There's some pretty not classy
Really?
people.
Are you sure? Because, I also watch Balls of Steel. Have you ever watched that, Justin?
No.
Okay.
Is that porno?
It's a UK show where they prank people and do crazy, nefarious things like that.
Okay.
And it's actually very funny. And I laughed a lot at it. I find a lot of British humor to be very funny. And in all honesty, I'm only saying this because I'm drunk, but because I find British humor funny, I think it makes me more classy.
I think you might be onto something, Nathan.
That's true. Erik, do you think I'm classy if I find Irish humor very...
Yeah, like Mrs. Brown's Boys. Yeah, that would make you so classy, Nathan.
Thank you. I want you guys to think of me as classy, not as showing off my ass.
And now here Nathan is still going on about being classy.
Well, not important for a drunk.
Yes.
Nathan,
I'm muting again.
No, Nathan, I was going to ask you, if you were a character on Downton Abbey, what would you be? if you can be
I would
classy?
probably be, which are you asking what I would want to be or what I probably would be?
Well, both, I guess.
Okay, well, I would want to be Lady Mary and be able to try on like the fanciest jewels and dresses of the Nile of Cleopatra.
Well, you are a Mary.
Yes, but if I was probably actually in Downton Abbey, I would be the character of Daisy, who is below.
Oh my God!
And I just like lay there in rags, wishing I had the fancy dresses that the rich people have. That's probably my real life. But don't feel sorry for me. I'm fine. I'm cool. I mean, I'm not here for sympathy. I'm here for love. And let's just like show the people that love us and hate us, because recently I saw a guy who said something about he's not going to listen to our podcast because he don't want to listen to people for 2 hours just talking. But I want to tell that guy, I see you and I like you. So
you sound like you're a minister.
Well, I am in a way, but I'm agnostic, so I can't go all the way into godly stuff. Are you guys a Christian? Justin, Eric, Joseph?
No,
Justin's very Christian. Yeah.
I was brought up Catholic, but I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
I thought you were a lapsed Catholic.
Well, I am.
That means he's an atheist. That means he's an atheist.
Okay. What about you, Joe?
You know I'm an atheist.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I haven't talked to you in a while about religious stuff. You might have changed your tune.
Maybe, but I have not.
You might be a Scientologist.
Obviously, I'm back from tinkling, and I'm assuming that the last we left off was my recently seen, correct?
It was. Yes. So I'm muting again. You guys talk about recently seen.
Yeah, okay. I was just going to mention while I was relieving myself, I wanted to make a little announcement. I don't know if you guys are fans of the show, but Dexter is actually coming back. They're doing one of those so popular kind of 10 years later reboots going on. And I really like that show a lot. I mean, it got increasingly dumber and as it went along, especially the last 3 seasons. But even its worst seasons were still highly entertaining. So I don't know if anyone out there likes Dexter, but it is coming back. I don't know when, but it's very exciting. And hopefully it'll tie up that better tie up the character and the plot than that last season did. So I just wanted to mention that.
This may shock you, but I really liked Dexter. I wasn't a huge fan of the final season. I thought that they were trying too hard to wrap things up in a neat little package. But I am very excited to see that they're going to do like 10 more episodes. And I'm curious to see where they go with it.
Okay.
Can I just, I'm just going to, as an aside, as we're doing a no edit thing, I'm just going to, you keep talking, Nathan. I know you're quite shy and coming forward at the moment, but
Justin,
I'm just going to go and get a drink.
Myself.
I'm going yes. Okay. I'm just going to go and get a beer. So keep talking.
Okay. Well, I've got an announcement. And that is that we can finally announce that we will be providing an audio commentary, or we already have done the audio commentaries for I Still Know What You Did Last Summer and its prequel, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, that's a way to word it, Eric.
Yeah, I know. What a way to word it. So the 3 last summer films are coming out in a box set from 88 Films in the UK. We've done the commentary for the first 2. So, and great fun they were too.
Who was the podcast that did it for the 3rd film?
I can't remember, but they specialize in kind of direct movies.
Yeah. And it's funny.
Seems like they might be a pretty good podcast.
Okay.
When I was younger, I didn't think of like I would ever be curious about direct to DVD movies, because at the time I was all into direct to VHS. But I mean, as I get older, I'm like, I actually kind of understand the need for direct to DVD movies. And I understand why people really want to do podcasts about them. And to them, I say, I raise my fist in the air and I support you. And I'm muted again.
Okay. Well, while you're muted, I'm going to go downstairs and get a cider. So I actually have to go downstairs. So I might be 60 seconds.
A slider?
Slider. Yeah, I'm going to get a slider. Yeah.
I guess I'll just talk to Justin for a minute.
Yeah.
Since Nathan is apparently going to be. Eric's going to be gone. So, Justin, how's the weather over in lovely Spain right now?
It's a very crisp and autumnal, but warm, so perfect weather.
It's kind of cool here, Justin.
Yeah, it's like 58, 60 degrees here. Very, very autumnal, but
Would
I
that
like
be
it.
cool to you, Justin?
Pardon?
50, 60 degrees?
What, the temperature here?
Yeah, would that be cool to you?
I don't know, because you've got a different way of measuring it, because we're sort of...
Yeah, we have Fahrenheit. You have Celsius.
Yes, so it's 26 degrees here, roughly, each day. So I don't know what that is in your strange...
I don't know either. Justin or Joseph, what is that?
Huh? What?
Well, you know all that smart stuff. So what is the equivalent to 28 degrees Celsius for us?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a fucking meteorologist. I don't know that.
But I mean, you probably have some.
I'm assuming that's probably about like our weather, probably like 58, 60 degrees.
See, Justin, that's cool.
Maybe about 66. I mean, I'll look it up, but
Justin,
I don't really,
does it ever bother you that we measure stuff in the same different ways? Like you say kilometers and we say miles.
Well,
and you say Espanol and we say Spanish.
Justin, did you say it was 28 degrees Celsius?
26.
26. Okay, so Nathan, that's actually like 78 degrees.
Hey, Justin, that's good weather. Did you know that?
I did, yes. I do find it a bit confusing, but also what's even more confusing is here in Spain, everything's kilometres, but in the UK, everything's in miles.
Ooh, it's all kilometres in Ireland.
Wait! In the UK, it's not kilometres? Hey,
No.
Eric, did you say it's kilometres in Ireland?
It is kilometres in Ireland.
That is amazing, Justin.
Can I just ask, where in the hell are we on this podcast right now?
I'm just about to do
Justin was about to do his recently
recent scene. And Nathan's about to mute himself.
That's his catchphrase now.
Yes. Okay, well, I'll rattle through these before we get on to... I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be going to covering the main pick. But... two films I've seen this week, because we're trying to, on the run up to Halloween, watch a horror related stuff. I mean, to be honest, like every day is Halloween. In most, I'm sure everyone listens to this. Every day is Halloween with us and our listeners. But a couple of things I've seen. I saw Alone, which has just been released, which is the remake of the Korean zombie movie Alive. It's the American remake with Tyler Posey and Donald Sutherland. And I don't know if you guys have seen Alive, which the Korean, it was on Netflix. It's a zombie movie about this kind of sort of young man, I guess. He's trapped in his apartment during a zombie outbreak, and he's in trying to stay alive, and it's quite quirky. But they've done this movie called Alone, which is Tyler Posey is the same character, and it's almost shot for shot remake in some bits of it, but on a much lower budget. So the Korean one is quite expansive and exciting, and hundreds of zombies running around. And in the American one, it's about 4 zombies running around, and everything is kind of, all the big set pieces are truncated or missing completely. But it's a possible time waster. The one interesting thing I found about it was that the zombies have got this kind of weird thing that they know they're zombies, and they hate what they're doing. So they're running around, the characters wanting to eat them, but begging them to kill them, which is a bit strange. But have any of you seen either of those movies?
No.
Okay.
No.
No.
And I feel like this is when Nathan's going to go on like a 20-minute diatribe about being together with someone.
Joseph, listen to me. Listen, Justin.
Yes.
I've not seen those, but they sound like they would be fun, and I might like them. So,
well,
that's
I tell
all
you,
I gotta say.
the other film that I've watched, which I think you would like, Nathan, is The Furies from Australia from last year, I think 2019, and it's actually a bona fide slasher movie. And the basic premise is this young woman and her friend get kidnapped and awake in the middle of nowhere in some woods in Australia, near an abandoned mining town. And they're part of this kind of online game where they're being there's 5 young women being hunted by 5 or maybe more slashers, sort of serial killers in masks, or done up with like owl masks or pig masks or various things. And so they basically got to escape being killed by these psychos on the loose, and they have to kind of band together, but it's kind of last person standing wins. So I really liked it. It's kind of quite quirky, but actually it's got the real kind of old school. It's kind of very gory as well. There's like split heads, heads being chopped off, all sorts of arms being ripped off. But it's really well made. So it's one that I think you would like, Nathan. So if you can see
it's exquisitely gory, is what you're trying to say.
Yes, it's kind of like, we're talking about sort of when they, if they were going to remake Friday the 13th or do a new Friday the 13th, the kind of gore effects that you would see in the original Friday the 13th, if they actually did those in a modern Friday the 13th, is a bit like that. So,
hey Justin, did you like the movie Picnic at Hanging Rock?
I haven't seen it for many years, but I remember liking it.
I liked it a lot. Anyway, that was just something I wanted to ask you, so we may move on.
Thank you. The other thing I just want to mention very quickly is that because I watched American Horror Story, I watched the first series when it came out, and for whatever reason I never got into any of the others. I did watch Hotel, which I quite liked, and American Horror Story 1984, which was the most recent one, I think. Because obviously the slasher aspect in that. So, but I kept on hearing people say that Asylum was one of the better seasons. So we're working our way through Asylum at the moment. And this kind of feeds quite nicely, I guess, into Halloween 2, in so much that I kind of miss, it's funny on the podcast talking about slasher movies, but sometimes I miss a bit of subtlety. The American Horror Story Asylum, it's like everything but the kitchen sink. And it's a bit like with the Halloween 2. It's just like there's no subtlety at all and no room to breathe. Everything is just thrown at you. And it's kind of like a kind of a symptom of kind of modern horror, I guess, the last 10 years. Kind of Rob Zombie kind of approach that everything is just like, it's just throwing everything but the kitchen sink into it. So my question, have you guys watched Asylum or the American Horror Story? Do you like them? Are they too much for you, or you think they're entertaining?
I saw the first.
Okay, Erik, you go.
Okay, I saw the first season, didn't like it. I thought it just kind of treaded water for 12 episodes and then had a boring conclusion. I watched 1984 as well, and I liked parts of it. I was more interested in the Kajagoogoo and Billy Idol bits than I was in the slasher element, to be honest. But I have no desire to watch any other seasons, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I saw the first season. I thought it was okay. I got about 6 episodes into the second season, and I kind of bailed. And then I watched not all, but a majority of 1984. And my favorite part of 1984 was like a couple of the individual characters. Like I don't remember her name. I think it was Nurse Rita. I love that character. But on the whole, I didn't see any of the Asylum stuff, and I really wasn't into American Horror Story.
Okay. What about you, Nathan? You can unmute.
Here we go.
I like all of the American Horror Stories, although I think that Ryan Murphy has a very big problem with, he knows how to start a show and keep it going, but he doesn't know how to end it. And I think that's been the problem with a lot of American Horror Stories, is that the endings have been kind of lackluster compared to the seasons.
Okay,
but
I'm just gonna say I don't like this, Nathan. I think he's being paranoid. He's not being as crazy as he was. Nathan, you need to amp it back up.
What are you talking about? I'm trying to be like honest and upfront and even a little classy, because Justin said that since he's from the UK, I need to be classier.
I never said that.
He said that?
I never said that.
Well, he didn't. No.
Didn't say that.
He
Nathan
didn't say that to me, but I'm just like, that's probably something that I should do.
You see, Nathan, the problem is kind of like, I always remember when I went to, I was in the United States about 10.
You live in like stereotypes. You think all British people are these proper people. Justin's probably, as big of a sackhead as you are. No. I don't know what sackhead means, but I
think of sackhead Jason. Justin, do you like sackhead Jason?
I do, but
I think I think Justin's a bit more of a crackhead than a sackhead.
Yeah.
Are you, Justin? Are you?
Well, I think
Justin, are you a
Eric's more of a crackhead, but not the drug type.
Well, here's the thing. All you guys are amazing, and I'm just saying that I do like that season of American Horror Story.
Well, thank you, Nathan. I was just going to say, when I was in the States about 10 years ago, we were in Seattle, Portland, I think, on the way to Los Angeles, a bus station. And a woman came up to me and said, she found out I was English, and she asked me if I knew the Queen. And obviously, I don't know the Queen. But you see, that's the thing, Nathan, you see, that Britain is full of posh people, chavvy people, real trailer trash type people. It's full of every type of person, just in the same ways you have classy people in the United States, like Kim Kardashian and people like that. So it is
classy.
Yeah, she's so classy.
No, it's a joke.
Well,
But
Justin, with her big arse and her Instagram
would you
account.
consider yourself posh?
No, I'm not. I wouldn't say I was posh. I didn't go to private school. I went to a Catholic
Well, I
school.
tell you what, guys, I have to go to the bathroom, so you guys just keep talking about whatever you're talking about, and I'll come right back.
Okay, all right. Everyone, listen for the retching.
Yep.
Yeah, I told him. Hey, if he does it, I'm going to leave it in the episode. So
yeah.
But
Well.
this is actually where the episode. This is actually where the show will get right back on track and sound like a normal one. That's strange.
Oh, bless Nathan. I admire Nathan's perseverance.
Nathan sent me a message offline. He's like, I'm gonna go all in for this. I'm like, yeah, me too. And I'm fairly tipsy, as you can tell, but wow, he has completely taken it to the next level.
I can't. It's funny tonight. I don't feel like I can get drunk for some reason. I'm just not. It's not touching sides. I think it's because I'm concentrating. I think I just need to let myself go.
Yeah, just let go. Just let it go. It'd be
Yes. Well, talking of letting ourselves go. We'll be coming on to Halloween 2 very shortly.
Have you finished your recently seen?
Yes, I have. Yes. So.
Well, while we're waiting for Nathan to come back, why don't I give you a little joke that I told you guys during the week, but maybe the listeners would like to hear it because it's quite a gem. Why is Justin so like Laurie in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2? Because they both curse well. There we go. You are welcome.
Thank you.
He drove away.
But also, no, thank you, Eric. And also take an opportunity. Hopefully it's not number 2 with Nathan, but take an opportunity thinking of recreating Harold's plops. Have you got the plop to hand?
There you go.
Poor Nathan. He'd be mortified if he knew what you were doing, Eric. But I was just going to mention also, we've got some announcements. We've teased quite a lot of the commentaries we've done, and we've been.
I think I might have mentioned this when you went.
Yeah, he's already mentioned this.
Oh,
yeah,
did you?
Okay. Go ahead and mention it again.
Mention it again. Yeah.
There's such a cacophony of Nathanian stuff going on around it that it might have got lost in the shuffle. So let's talk about it again.
What are we talking about? Nathanian? Like I'm taking over the show? I'm not taking over the show. I've been muting myself at various intervals.
Okay.
Yes, we're not saying you're taking over the show. We're just sort of saying that when I was going to get a drink, Erik had talked about our commentaries, which I missed. So I started talking about them.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about them again. Why not?
Were you saying good things, Justin?
We were. Well, I was, but trouble is Erik was playing Harold's plops when you were in the toilet, and I thought that was very disrespectful.
Why would you be disrespectful to me when I was peeing?
When you were doing a plopping. You were plopping.
I was peeing into a bowl of
We
toilet.
knew it. You went for a plop, you dirty little boy.
I haven't plopped because I don't do that kind of thing.
Wow.
Humans in the world that doesn't.
Almost an hour in, and we still haven't got past recently.
You are.
I'm so sorry. You guys go ahead. I will mute again.
No, Nathan, you are.
I was peeing. You guys could have gotten to recently seen while I was doing that.
Nathan, you go beyond
we were
classy.
complimenting you while you were in the bathroom.
Thank you for the compliments. I really appreciate that. It gives my ego a boost, if you know what I mean.
Well, hopefully it'll give something else a boost, and you can because Wes has been sending me private messages lauding your performance on the show.
Well, how dare he?
Well, shall we take that that moment to move it on to the main feature?
Yes.
Yes.
Picking up where the first film left off, Laurie is taken to the hospital after supposedly killing the man who was responsible for the deaths of several people in the town of Haddonfield, Illinois, that is. However, her stay at Haddonfield General becomes very brief when a very much alive Michael appears once more, brutally murdering everyone in the hospital to find his sister. Michael disappears and Laurie survives the infamous Halloween massacre, but is still haunted by it a year later. 2 years later, I think you'll find, Mr. Blurb, writer man. Laurie struggles to come to terms with her dark past, or at least forget it. But the supposedly dead Michael Myers has other plans, and as the anniversary of his massacre approaches, he returns to Haddonfield once more with a family reunion planned that Laurie will never forget. So, as the blurb states there, this one starts where the first one ends, which is, something I like in sequels, but not in this case, because the first one ended with screaming and swearing and just general shrillness, and that's exactly where this one picks up. And it continues on and on and on, and we sat through the extended version for the podcast, so we had to sit through 2 hours of shrill screaming and swearing. But first of all, we're given a quote from the Subconscious Psychosis of Dreams, which explains to us in a little text blurb what the use of the white horse is throughout the film. And apparently it's linked to instinct, purity, and the drive of the physical body to release powerful and emotional forces, like rage with ensuing chaos and destruction, which sounds like drunk Nathan, really. Is that right, Nathan? You still there? No, he's
still
not.
Here. I'm listening.
Okay. Well, come as no surprise to anyone that I absolutely hate this film. I don't just hate it, I despise it. I appreciate it has its fans, but I'm not one of them. I keep saying this every time a Rob Zombie film comes up in conversation. I saw his first 4 movies and I found very little to like in any of them. And this one to me is probably the worst. And once again, it's not a very flattering portrayal of America. And I hope it's quite a false portrayal of America, because if this is what America is like, I don't want to go there. Extreme horror is not something that really floats my boat, particularly for slasher movies. And this is a prime example of why. I mean, it's possible to be downbeat and serious but still entertain. So something like Seven or Midsummer or Alien 3 are examples of horror films that are quite downbeat but still entertaining. But one of the problems I have with Halloween 2 is that, like all of Rob Zombie's films, I find it's just incredibly boring. He hits one note and he sustains it for 2 hours. Within the first 10 minutes of this film, an ambulance crashes and the driver ends up saying the F word over and over and over again. Kind of like Wes was there a few minutes ago talking to Nathan. It's absolutely disgraceful, really, the language in this film. But that's, for me, the biggest problem with this in this film, and the film is full of problems, but the biggest problem for me is that Laurie Strode is horrible in this film. I hated her in the first one, even before she becomes aware of Michael Myers' presence. But in this one, she can't utter a sentence without lacing it with cuss words. She's horrible to everyone around her, and she acts like the world revolves around her. She goes into her friends' houses and starts whining about how she's Michael Myers' sister. Oh, poor me. Somebody tried to kill me a few years ago. Everyone talk about me. It's all about me. Listen to me swear and talk about myself all the time. Oh, fuck off, Laurie. Oh, I just said an F word. Sorry. I thought the character of Annie in this one, I mean, she's horrible as well. She's less obnoxious than Laurie, but again, she's far from likable. I do completely side with her, though, in the Annie versus Laurie shouting scenes. I just hate the character of Laurie so much in this film. I just can't overstate it. There's a scene where they're having a heart-to-heart at the breakfast table when Laurie is talking about how hard she's finding it to get over the experience of 2 years earlier, and you can kind of see some humanity there, but then it quickly devolves into sort of lots of shouting and F words and moodiness. And, if you listen to the intro there, you would have heard it's just packed with just the most despicable dialogue. Loomis is also a completely horrible character in this, like really horrible. He was eccentric but likable in the original films in the 70s and 80s. But in this one, he's just so egotistical. He has a short fuse. There's a scene where he's abusing people at this press conference for his latest book. And he's just such an unlikable character. And this is the problem with Halloween 2, is there's no likable character in it to root for. And it's, again, as I said, it just hits one note, and it's just shrill and horrible all the way through. He uses a lot of shaky cam, which I hate. It was one of the worst discoveries of 21st century cinema, I should say, is shaky cam, which I think is an easy way out when filming an action sequence. And this is full of shaky cam and fast edits, and I can't handle it. And then there's all that twaddle about the white horse, which I'd have no problem with in a better film, but it adds nothing to this one and seems like a really forced measure to try and elevate the film and make it look more intelligent than it actually is. The one bit that made me chuckle, though, is when Sheriff Brackett finds Annie dead, and he starts to sing in a little aria, which I played at the intro there, but here it is again for those of you who need reminding. And that's my favorite part of the film, is that little, how many seconds, 4 or 5 second clip of Brad Dourif kind of singing, and he finds his dead daughter. Not his fault. I mean, the film doesn't give him anything really to do. There is, I suppose, it shows flashback footage, VHS footage of a young Danielle Harris there, which should pull at the heartstrings, but because it's in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, it doesn't. Actually, there is one other thing I like in the film, and that's the inclusion of the Moody Booze. How appropriate, the Moody Booze. That's what Nathan's been drinking. The inclusion of the Moody Blues song, Nights in White Satin, which is a song I love, and you can hear it at the end of the podcast, but that's like 2 little shining moments in this cinematic turd for me. So yeah, the main problems for me, Laurie Annie Loomis, so horrible. The film is just really boring. Thankfully, this will be the last time I ever have to sit through Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I'm not going to watch either of his Halloween films ever again. I just think they're tripe. I'd like to say they're laughable, but that would insinuate there's a level of fun in them. But I just don't get any fun from them. I just find them headache-inducing and tedious. And yeah, that's it for me and Halloween 2. So I don't know who to go to next, because if I go to Nathan, we'll all be sitting here for probably 45 minutes, if not more. Justin.
We'll
go to you first.
I was worried you might pick me. It's a bit like a game of Russian roulette.
Yes.
So, yeah, well, Halloween 2, I think I said at the start of the show, I a bit of, not history, but obviously I'd mentioned when we did the original Halloween, not the original, but the original Rob Zombie's Halloween, is that I was in LA when the premiere was there, and I really wanted to get in to see it because I thought, wow, I'm really looking forward. And I'm so glad I didn't end up going because I hated it. So for the sequel, I would watch this, and I realised actually I hadn't seen the second half of the movie because I must have turned it off because it was so shrill and shrieky and all the things you said, Erik. It was just not want to sound like Divine in Polyester, but it was getting on my last nerve. You know, the whole thing is just one note and shrieking. It's just like, it's almost every character in this movie is despicable. And like you say, it doesn't give anyone to root for. It's kind of this irony that I don't think Scout Taylor Compton is a bad actress by any stretch. I've seen her in other things and she's not, but Rob Zombie's obviously given her direction to go completely for this thing. And I think, without stealing it from Nathan's mouth, because he's obviously got the glass to his lips at the moment, but is that this idea that you've got these characters that you're watching someone with post-traumatic stress disorder, and it doesn't make for a fun movie. You know, when we're watching slasher movies, sometimes they can be grimy, gritty, but at the end of the day, there's an entertainment value to them, and we're watching a film where we enjoy cat and mouse, or we root for the characters, we root for the killer, but we don't root for Michael Myers in this. We don't root for any of the characters. And the Laurie character is so shrill and so unlikable. She's sitting there, she's got a face like a slapped ass, and you've got the Annie Brackett character whose face is cut up. You know, she's got these big scars all over her face, And Laurie's all me. Oh, I'm so hard done by, even though a friend was carved up. It doesn't sit well. I mean, one question I did have about it was the whole. Are we to believe the whole of the first 20 minutes of the film, which obviously, if you're listening to this, I'm sure you have seen John Carpenter's Halloween 2 set in the hospital, Jamie Lee Curtis in a bad wig, being chased around by Michael Myers, much more entertaining. But it's Rob Zombie, if anything approaches any kind of wit with this, it's kind of like he's having a little bit of the cake and eating it. He kind of gets the nod to the 1981 film out of the way with going to the hospital. Was that all meant to be a dream sequence? The whole thing? None of that happened?
I think so, yeah.
Because
that's what I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed that way. Although we see like Annie Brackett being, all this, being. Sorry, I'm going to burp myself, but being sort of, sewn up and everything like that. And I did think it was a bit odd that the Moody Blues seemed to be on the TV for the whole of 20 minutes. Which seemed like a very long version of Nights
Extended
in White
remix.
Satin. Yes. And also I did think it was a bit odd that there was a body, sort of a big pit full of dead bodies under a hospital. It seemed a bit odd. I was even more shocked to see Octavia Spencer being brutally murdered in it. Who, of course, she was really good in that film. Is it Mama? What's the name?
Mama, yeah.
Mama, wasn't it?
What was it called?
Was it called Mama?
Ma,
that was it. As the nurse who gets kind of brutally murdered by Michael Myers. It's, I mean, some other things I took away from the film. I think the notes I've written down was that, if I could praise anything, it looks good. Even though I think it was shot on 16mm, the first one was shot on 35mm, so it looks very grainy. So he's obviously going for this kind of grindhouse look for a film. But I think the thing that Rob Zombie, apparently he's a lovely guy and everything like that. And obviously I love his references, but the films he loves. And you can see that by all the kind of stunt casting he has throughout the film with, various people from the films, the 70s films he loves, is that what you can miss is if you watch the 70s grindhouse movies, they're not all one note. It's not shrieking. Even the Texas Chainsaw Massacre starts with a whole like a build up to the well earned kind of delirium of the last half an hour of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it kind of misses out on that, and it's so the film itself, it looks, if it could give him any props, it looks good. It's nicely shot. There's some atmospheric kind of visuals. It doesn't start out too badly. The stuff in the hospital could have been better. I would have rather seen a straight remake of 1981 film set in a hospital. Would have been more fun. I think the main problem also is that Michael Myers, although for the fact he's gone from being this kind of average Joe, the shape, this idea of this ghostly kind of lean kind of shadow of a man that appears and disappears in the flash of a light and behind hedges, and as the sun or the moon changes the light, he disappears. It's like almost like a sort of balletic kind of dancing around, kind of this intangible presence. Here he's just looks like a pro wrestler. And he's kind of like the littlest hobo. If you remember that 70s show that I used to love, that was with the little dog that running along the train tracks, the littlest hobo. He's like the biggest hobo. And it's just
when he gets unmasked at the end, he's kind of hot.
Well, I know you shared that picture of him, the ginger Michael Myers, but it's kind of the whole thing. He gets unmasked. It just destroys the mystique of it. I mean, you've got this bullshit about this white horse and his mother as this kind of ghostly persona, and the young Michael Myers from the first film, where he was kind of this horrible kind of serial killer and making sort of torturing animals and being a little shit, to being this like almost like something from the Brady Bunch in this movie, where he's supposed to be this slightly angelic kind of character. And the adult Michael Myers, there's nothing there. It's hollow. There's no, and then you get to the end of the movie and you've got what we're supposed to take away from it, that Laurie Strode has become Michael Myers, passed on the evil. And, she gets shot to death by that Angela Merkel lookalike at the end. It's just a mess. And for me, I mean, my understanding is Rob Zombie didn't want to make this movie. He didn't want to make the sequel, and he ended up doing it. And I didn't really feel like his heart was in it. It's almost like autopilot Rob Zombie, the whole thing, and throwing in this kind of this white horse bullshit. it's not an entertaining movie. It's an endurance test of a film. I don't see the entertainment value in it really. There's bits in it that I kind of quite like. I can see how they could have gone with some bits, but it's, some of it's so lazy as well. It's like the end when you've got Dr. Loomis. There's kind of all this really lazy writing. It's kind of like, oh yeah, we know Laurie Strode's been kidnapped by Michael Myers because some random person saw him pulling her out of a car and phoned the police. And then they're in this shack at the end, and then Dr. Loomis is having a glass of wine in his hotel room, sees it on the news, and he's there in 2 minutes. I mean, it's so lazy. It's just, it's a steaming turd of a movie. So, but apart from that, I quite liked it.
Yeah, it's brilliant apart from that.
So anyway, yeah, sorry.
What the fuck was that?
What?
What was that?
Hey.
Was that a sound clip?
No, it was just me.
Oh, it sounded like a sound clip.
I'm going to get another beer after that. I'm still thirsty. So continue.
Nanny, nanny, boo, boo, stick your head in doo doo.
I think this episode is going to be an endurance test.
Yeah. Joseph, what did you think of Halloween poo?
Fine. This movie is a festering pile of white trash. It is dirtbag personified. And there's a scene in this film that really just sums up this movie on the whole. It's that at the very beginning where they're in the ambulance and they've got Michael Myers in the back, they zoom in on Richard Brake's teeth as he's talking about fucking corpses. And that is pretty much where I just checked out, because the opening moments of this movie, now I'm going to give Rob Zombie some props here. The opening moment of this movie with the mother and the kid in the hospital talking, and they don't say any curse words. They're just having a conversation. It's actually kind of poignant. And I'm thinking, Rob Zombie, if you actually put some thought into one of your movies and, stop this kind of hillbillying around, you could make a decent movie. But, it picks up after the carnage of the last film. And at this point, when we start, focusing on Richard Brake's teeth as he's talking about fucking corpses, I completely check out. I mean, this is the celluloid equivalent of a trailer park. And my apologies to anyone currently residing in a trailer park. I think every other line of dialogue in this movie is an obscenity. The characters are unlikable. The film is a cacophony of noise, screeching, cursing, and rotting ambience. I mean, let's talk about the Dr. Loomis character. I mean, in the first film, I'll give the first. Oh my God! I mean, looking at this film and then looking at the first film in contrast, you can almost see some glimmer of decency in the first film when you contrast it with this film. But let's just contrast the Dr. Loomis character, because in the first film, he at least seemed like a competent, concerned doctor, but that's not the case here. He's just a shithole opportunist. He's just trying to sell a book, and it doesn't matter to him how far out he goes with sensationalism. It's just so awful. Let me get that out of my system real quick.
Well, that sums up Halloween 2 quite nicely.
That does, yeah. I just want to get that out of my system. The Laurie character, as you said, Eric, she totally grates on the last nerve. I mean, those scenes where she has with Annie and they're arguing over, who has the higher post-traumatic stress disorder going on. I sided with Annie. I think Laurie was being completely ridiculous in her arguments. There's no suspense to this movie whatsoever. I mean, it's not even, I wouldn't even call it a slasher movie, honestly. I mean, I realize it's part of the canon and we're covering it as a drunk cast, but honestly, I would not call this a slasher. I mean, if we were going to cover this outside of it being a drunk cast or a part of the Halloween films, if we were going to cover it, and I don't see what universe we would, this would be like a Patreon pick to me, because it's not a slasher film. I mean, Michael Myers, he's not scary. There's no main character to root for. There's no one by one body count. I mean, Michael Myers is essentially just this kind of pissed off hobo with mommy issues. I mean, other than that, I mean, God, this movie's so pretentious. That white horse. I mean, the whole time I'm watching this, I'm asking myself, is there any way I can saddle up and gallop off away from this movie as far as possible? I mean, this movie doesn't move anywhere in so much that it just gyrates in place at like this peak intensity. I mean, it's this vomitorium of flaccid stupidity. And you know what? I could forgive all of that, all of it, if it weren't just so boring. That's ultimately what this movie is, a big, fat, stinking bore. I hated it, and I hated the notion, or I hate the notion, that anyone could call this an improvement on John Carpenter's original 2 films. I mean, I get that people have different tastes, but come on. This is not a math test here. But you know what? I will say one good thing about this movie, and that would be that it is thankfully finite. 2 long, dreadful hours, sure, but it is finite. Once those credits popped up, I felt this awesome wave of relief that it was all over and that I'll never, ever, ever have to watch this again. And you know what? I don't care. I torrented your movie, Rob Zombie, because I was not about to pay for it. I mean, I paid for this by going to the cinema, so I was justified. I'm not afraid to say it. So as soon as those credits popped up, I said to myself, good. Get this garbage off of my laptop before it catches head lice. This does not get the Joseph seal of approval, whatever that may be. And that is my opinion on Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
I suppose the one redeeming feature is that the credits roll is almost 10 minutes long. So you think you have to sit down for a 2-hour movie, but it's actually only 1 hour 50. So speaking of white whores, let's go over to our favorite white whore. And that's Nathan.
Before we get to Nathan, before we get to Nathan, sorry Nathan, I just want to say, Nights in White Satin. There's a couple of good songs on this soundtrack as well. Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues and The Things We Do for Love by 10cc. I thought were great additions to the film, but they just didn't belong in this film. But on to you, Nathan.
On to me.
Nathan, it's y'all's turn.
It's y'all's turn. I will say that I told a lot of the fans of our show that like this movie that I would give it a fair shot, and I really did. I was watching it and I was thinking to myself, I could kind of see why Laurie would have all this like post-traumatic stress. I can understand it. But then as I was watching it, I started thinking to myself, but I just don't find it entertaining. Like, it's not fun to me to watch. And I mean, in all honesty, that's why I like to watch movies, is for fun. And if I'm not having fun, then why am I bothering? And to me, I think that's a big problem with Rob Zombie's movies. I'm thinking to myself, if I think about Rob Zombie's other movies, I mean, I like The Devil's Rejects. I did not like House of a Thousand Corpses, although I think he's a great director. I just don't think he's a great writer. I don't know what it is. I don't
think he's a great director. I think he's just a competent director.
I love his direction. I just don't like his writing. I mean, I think that's the problem. It's that his characters in general, I just don't like. And even though I can kind of understand where Laurie is coming from, I didn't like her. So I just felt myself thinking, God, this is so like just droning on and on and on, when I wish that it would just hurry up and just get to the point. I mean, I understand Laurie is traumatized from what she dealt with. I get that. But just watching 2 hours of somebody who's just like this junky like character, I mean, I didn't find that entertaining. I found Jamie...
Well, stop looking in the mirror then.
How dare you, Erik? I found Jamie Lee Curtis much more entertaining in the original Halloween 2 when all she did is stay in the bed for most of the movie. I found that more watchable. And I'm really sorry to everybody that loves this movie. I can kind of understand where you're coming from with how it writes post-traumatic stress disorder. But in general, just from me watching it, I just kept thinking to myself, I'm so just whatever about this whole scenario. I cared more about Laurie in Halloween 2 with what you guys say is a bad wig, even though in all honesty, I didn't know she was wearing a wig back then, but I was really young when I watched it. So, I mean, how would I know?
It's when it kept on moving backwards and forwards on her forehead.
Did it?
That was the giveaway.
Did it? Okay, I need specific points in the film where you guys tell me that, and I will go look. Because in all honesty, I thought the wig was like adequate at best.
I don't think it did actually.
It goes back and forth.
I don't think it did. I just made that up. But I think it did because it didn't look anything like her hair. It looked like I don't know. It was kind of they made it from a dog grooming parlor. They kind of stuck it together on their head.
How did you guys know that it was a wig? Because it didn't look that much different than Jamie Lee Curtis's hair in 1978. In that house,
but it does. Yeah.
Am
Nathan,
I
you have
really
had too much
just not
drink.
seeing this correctly?
You've said Rob Zombie is an excellent director, and now you're saying you didn't realize it was a wig in Halloween 2.
Well,
you are drunk.
I'm saying that I didn't think it was a bad wig.
Are you, when you look at the wig, are you seeing two of the wigs?
Well, no, I mean, I'm not looking at it right now. I'm looking at Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie version. It's when a driver was killed in an explosion. But in all honesty, I got to say, guys, that I think that Rob Zombie is great at directing. I think he's great at casting. I think his cast does the best that they can. But in all honesty, when it comes down to it, I just don't think he's got the writing talent that is needed to pull off the rest of this. So
you know what, Nathan?
That's why it doesn't work for me.
You know what, Nathan? I'll agree with you there. I think Rob Zombie does pull some decent actors, and a lot of these actors, let's be honest here, they are good, decent, and some of them even great actors. But unfortunately, they're just saddled with shit, and you know, like you said,
Exactly.
they sell it the best they can. But I'll give him props for that.
Come on,
yeah.
Joe. We've seen these actors in movies where we can see how great their talent really is.
Right.
But I just think that you can only do so much with bad dialogue.
Well, Nathan,
and in all honesty, I feel like Rob Zombie's movies have just a lot of bad dialogue that I don't find appealing.
Nathan, I've got a question for you. You said about Rob Zombie. Would you pull it off if you could?
Pull what off?
But directing a movie, of course.
Yeah, well, I have.
Of course.
I co-directed Night Before Easter with Joseph.
You know what? As bad as I hate The Night Before Easter, I'm trying to make this not sound like I'm sucking my own dick, which I can because I have a really big dick, by the way. And
you had your ribs removed.
Yeah.
Like Prince? Was it Prince had his ribs removed?
And you've got a big
Marilyn
mouth.
Manson, apparently.
Oh,
I don't think
okay.
it's true, but that's the rumor. But anyway, I will say The Night Before Easter is better than Halloween 2. That's saying something.
That is true, actually.
Are you talking about the 1981 Halloween 2? Or
No. Nathan, come on. You're not that drunk.
Do you know which...
No,
Nathan, do you know which film we're covering?
I didn't know if you were.
Now, Justin, you can speak.
No, I'm not that drunk. Sorry.
I was going to say...
for a second there because I was going to burp. And for once, I was going to be nice about it.
You didn't have much to say.
Once.
So, Nathan, have you got any more thoughts about Halloween 2? Because we didn't want to interrupt your flow.
I felt the white horse thing. I mean, again, I could kind of understand what Rob Zombie was going for, but just for me, I was just whatever about the whole thing. What
was he going
as
for,
I was
Nathan?
watching it, I kept thinking that why couldn't this whole movie just take place in the hospital? I think it would have been a fun movie, and I think he showed some talent in the hospital scenes, but then they just had to go beyond the hospital and Laurie's potty mouth and strip clubs and all that nonsense. And I'm like, oh my God, could we not have just dealt with all this in part 1?
But Nathan, can I just ask, what is your theory? You said you knew what he was going for with the white horse.
Well, I mean, I feel like, like you said in the beginning, the white horse is more of a way of you're coming home. Like it's like the end of your reign and you're coming home because, Michael Myers' mom gave him the gift of the white horse. And I think it was just a way of showing Michael Myers that once he had reached like an epitome of Halloween kills, he was done and he needed to come home to his mother.
She's going to give him a pony.
Accept the white horse.
She's going to give him a pony as a present for killing all the whores.
Justin, I feel like you're making this more ridiculous than it really is. It's actually very poignant.
But
or malignant, if you
I was
will.
just going to mention real quick. For me, ultimately, I think the film feels like someone said, "Hey, Rob, your first Halloween film made a lot of money. Take the Halloween name, take Michael Myers' image, take the Laurie Strode name, and just do whatever the fuck you want with it." That's pretty much what
I
Halloween.
feel like you're going overboard. I mean, he kept the characters' names. He kept some of the hospital sequences. I think that the scene with Laurie in the hospital, especially when she's in the guard shack and Michael Myers is hacking the house down, that is amazing. And I'm like, oh my God, like if you could have kept that kind of momentum with your movie, this movie would have been an amazing hospital slasher. But instead you took it to a redneck, god-awful strip club that like not even my grandfather would have went into. And I'm like, oh my God, no, this is just a no-go. I mean,
okay, now I want to know about your grandfather.
Yeah, what was your grandfather like?
Potential was wasted is what I'm trying to say.
No. I want to know about your grandfather. You said
Yeah,
not
tell us
even
more
my
about
grandfather.
Granddad Johnson.
Well, he passed away a long time ago, but he was the one that introduced me to horror movies. So you guys
And
should have
strip
loved him for
clubs.
that. I might not have been on this podcast if I
Yeah,
didn't.
but what about him and strip clubs?
Well, I mean, I was just saying, like, it just reminded me of something that he might have gone to. And let's just be honest, my family was not exactly known for classiness. We weren't the Justin Kurzweil of Chatsworth, Georgia. Okay?
Are you from Georgia?
We were beneath that.
I thought you were from Nebraska.
No, I was from
That's
Georgia.
a line from Brady Bunch.
Oh,
Movie.
well, Menage a Trois, Eric. Menage a Trois.
Yeah. The one thing about Rob Zombie movies is that even those people who would be on the same wavelength as me in hating his films, a lot of them say that they do like Devil's Rejects, like you said, Nathan, and that's one I just can't get into either. I'm afraid I don't like it at all, and I don't see any potential in the hospital scenes in Halloween 2 either. I just there's so little in this film for me, apart from Brad Dourif singing and then Nights in White Satin, which I love. Again, those two
this movie
moments.
didn't have much for you, Eric.
No,
I just want to say that the Nights in White Satin was done so much better in the and you'll like this, Eric. It was used so much better in the film Shattered from 1991 with Bob Hoskins. And I'm just going to say right now, and I know this is premature, but right now for our off-piste picks next year, I am picking Shattered. So that's going to be my pick for off-piste.
Really?
Oh, I'm picking on Good Friday then.
Eric's gonna be all like, wanking his fap to that.
Wanking his fap.
Well, I figured after 10 years, we need to pick some sort of Bob Hoskins movie.
Well,
right?
I like to wank my fap.
You do wank your fap, Eric. I've heard it on the show. It says, that's the kind of noise it makes.
Can I just take us back to the Halloween party that reminded me a little bit of the?
I will mute. I'm muting again.
No. You can chime in, but no, it's just like the Halloween party that reminded me of the Halloween party in Halloween 5, which is much more fun. But did you think it was funny that, like, Laurie Strode turns up at the two girls' house, the friend's house, and just basically, and she goes, "Oh my God, I'm Michael Myers' sister. My life's fucked, blah, blah, blah." And they go to a party and they just happen to have a magenta from the Rocky Horror Picture Show costume just lying around for their random friend who wasn't invited to this party.
Well, who doesn't have one of those? I love magenta. Don't you like magenta, Justin? Do you like Rocky Horror Picture
I do. But also the fact is that Michael Myers turns up at this party. He kills a random that girl and the boy he's just met. He's never met this girl. He doesn't know her from Adam, and so he kills them in the van for no reason apart from he just wants to kill people. And then rather than what may have made a slightly funner movie would have been him working his way around the Halloween party, killing people randomly or whatever around the Halloween party. But no, they kind of so is this kind of stuff. It doesn't not. We don't want slasher movies to make sense, but it feels almost like he's being cynical about it. It's almost, I get this feeling that he did it almost like not contractual obligation.
Yeah, Justin, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think Rob Zombie, because he was contractually obligated to do this movie, that he just was basically trolling the audience? I mean, there's no other way that you could take this seriously enough to think that the director wasn't trolling the audience.
Some people take it very seriously. I mean, I've seen people on our Facebook page talk about how they've suffered post-traumatic stress disorder, and they see that it's a very realistic portrayal. But for me, I've never suffered from that. So, I mean, maybe I just can't understand. But I see it, and I'm like watching Laurie Strode say the F word 50,000 times in the front seat of a vehicle and beating the steering wheel with her fists. I mean, that just doesn't do anything for me. It just makes me feel blah.
Yeah, can I also just say I went into this movie intending to count how many times the F word was used, and by the time, like, after about 5 minutes, I got so bored that I just gave up on the notion.
Do you know how? I know how many.
There's no way I could actually keep up with how many times it's said, so I just kind of abandoned that idea.
I do know.
Hey, Erik.
I know how many. Guess? Can we guess? And I'll tell you whoever gets closest, and it's basically.
You counted?
Yeah, it's counted. Well, I didn't count it. I found it online.
Okay.
It's on IMDb.
Yeah.
Justin, you pick who goes first, and we'll see who gets the closest.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to read out. It says the word "fuck" and its derivatives are used blank times in this movie. So I think Erik might know because
I do.
What do they mean by derivatives?
Well, as in like motherfucker, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of. So, how many would you say, Joseph?
Let me think. I'm just going to take a random guess here. Let's see. I'll say 147 times.
Okay. Well, what we'll do is a competition between you and Nathan because I think Erik knows because he's probably seen this.
I read this trivia fact as well.
Erik, why did you read this?
Nathan.
Okay, well, ask me then, Justin, and I'll have a guess.
That's my answer. Let me revise my answer real quick.
What?
Okay. I say 181 times. So,
okay.
Nathan,
Well, Nathan, let's see what Nathan says.
I say 180.
180.
Or less.
Cheeky.
Well, Nathan, will you know, don't you, Erik?
No, I don't actually. I've decided I'm going to have a guess.
Okay.
Yes.
112.
You do know. That's exactly the right. So Eric's disqualified. Erik is disqualified. Nathan wins. So Nathan wins. Your prize is another Nathonian.
Hey, Wes says that you should all vote as to whether I get another wine. Should I have another wine or not?
Yes.
No, a Nathonian.
A Nathonian.
Justin, what's your vote?
Well, I would say because you are the last bell, aren't you? I'd say you're the last bell in Tennessee. So I think as the bell end of the show, I think you should have another drink.
Justin, he said I was the bell end of the show, and that is that. You know what the bell end means? I know what a bell is. It means your penis looks like a bell. Erik, what's your vote?
My vote is that Wes has the exact same voice as you because I thought that was you shouting.
And I have the exact same voice.
No, if you actually hung out with it, you would see the difference between Wes's voice and Nathan's.
Joseph, what's your vote?
What's my vote on what?
Whether I should have another glass of wine or not for this show.
We're going to lose our entire audience, so just go for it.
Well, I'm pouring wine into a glass, and my straw is white and red sashayed.
Well,
what is a coffee sachet? Hey, Justin, I was watching a British show, and I want you to tell me this. What is a coffee and tea sachet?
Well, I was just going to say, while Nathan wraps his lips around some long, hard structure, where are we on this episode? I don't even know anymore.
Where we are is me asking Joseph about what a sachet is.
You mean me? Do you mean a sachet? A sachet of...
It's a little container of...
Well, here's the thing. Erik, Joseph, I was watching Miranda, and she was talking about how when you go to a hotel, you have little coffee or tea sachets.
Yes.
And I'm like, what is a sachet? Because the only sachet I know of is RuPaul saying sachet away. So
this is SACHET sachet. It's a little like plastic bag thing.
Twirl along. In colloquialisms, it means to twirl along and exit the room, as it were. And on that note, guys, I got to exit the room to take a tinkle, so you guys keep talking.
Well, let's talk about.
Don't ask me. Be peeing.
Well, let's talk about
you, Eric and Joseph, or Justin, Eric and Justin, because you guys are classy and you know like about sachets and stuff like that. See, I'm very poor and not classy. So if I see a sachet, I'm like, oh, look, there's a paper that you put coffee in. Like, I don't know that kind of stuff.
Well, no, it's kind of like, if you go to a hotel, Nathan, and you go like, even the cheap, you get by the kettle, you'll have little things of instant coffee in a paper tube, and you rip it open and pour it in your cup. That's a sachet.
Is it good? Is it great? Justin, have you ever been to Thailand?
Have
you ever been to Thailand?
No.
Eric.
No, I have actually. No, I lie.
No,
I've been.
But you guys are like, you visit Germany and Italy and all these amazing countries that I can only dream of, and you have not been.
That's because we're so close to them.
Yes.
But you guys are amazing getting to visit those stuff. See, I don't get that chance. If I want pizza, I go to freaking Pizza Hut.
So do we.
But I have been to Thailand actually.
Y'all live near like the pizza capital. Could you not get Italian?
Yeah, I'm not going to take a flight to Rome to get a pizza on a Tuesday night, and I'm in work on Wednesday.
Do you guys have like Domino's and Papa John's and Pizza Hut over in your area?
Yes.
Not here.
Really,
we don't.
Justin?
No.
Do you have it in Lanzarote?
No. No, we have
any restaurants in Lanzarote that we would know about?
Well, there's a few kind of McDonald's, which I wouldn't eat in. But no, it's all kind of.
Well, Eric, Justin, not all of McDonald's is meat. Their fries are vegan. You could get fries from there.
Yes, but what do they cook their fries in? I think they use. They probably.
I thought you were taking a dump.
No, I was going to go pee and to get another drink. Okay. But I'm back, by the way. And so, guys, I just want you to know.
When you go to McDonald's, you get fries, right?
Yes, but can we
get back to Halloween too?
Yes, we can. And I will mute. Go ahead, talk.
Okay, do we have anything else to say, or will I give you some a small bit of background that I have here?
I want to hear your background.
Okay, well, originally they wanted Julienne Moret.
Whoa, wait a minute. Did everyone give their opinion?
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that Eric went, oh.
They sound like they don't want to be here anymore, and now I'm feeling bad.
Hold on.
I think we all did. Joseph and Eric and Justin, you all gave your opinions, right?
Yeah.
Hey, mine.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying they're like, God, I wish we could hurry this up. Now I feel bad.
No, we don't have to feel bad. What we feel is our overseas counterparts are going to classily finish up the episode. That's how I look at it.
Nathan wants to know if we're ever Bangkoked.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute.
Justin, what did I feel sometimes? Hey, Justin, have you ever been knighted by the Queen?
Yes, twice now.
I want to be knighted. Can I be? Do you think I could do it, or is it only for British people?
I think it's only for British people. But if you change your nationality.
I could be British. I could talk like I'm from the British Isles, and I want the Queen to knight me. Is that a bad thing, or is it disrespectful?
Wait a minute, Justin. Didn't Sean Connery get knighted? He's not British, is he?
Yeah, he's Scottish.
See?
Scotland.
See, I'm terrible with geography. I apologize, but I didn't know that was
Justin. Can you put a good word in for me with the Queen and get me knighted?
Yeah, well, next time I'm speaking to Liz on Skype or Zoom, I'll mention you because I think that you probably wouldn't need a passport coming to England with that accent. They'd let you straight in, and then you'd have a.
I'm so touched.
Well, I know that.
Put a good word.
Yeah,
in.
we know you.
Eric, Can you put me in a good word with the Queen of Ireland?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, that's
Queen of
Erik.
Ireland, it doesn't exist, but yeah. We don't have a royal family in Ireland. Just me.
Well, who runs your country?
That would be the wizards, the leprechauns.
Holy are you serious? Are you just saying that because I'm drunk?
No,
or are you serious?
It's the leprechauns.
Don't you know that?
No.
The leprechauns run Ireland.
Leprechauns exist,
They live in a big shamrock house in Dublin, and they run the country.
But no. You guys are so classy. How do you not know how classy you are?
Well,
I mean,
I do
when
know
Justin
I'm classy.
says, "Oh, that RuPaul contestant was a gaunt," he's so classy when he says that.
That RuPaul contestant was a what?
A gunt.
CUNT. I don't want to say it again because it's so naughty.
Cunt.
Here's the thing: I can't say the C word living in America, but Justin could say it because he has the accent that can say it in a proper insulting way. But I can't say it in a proper insulting way. When I say it, it sounds trashy. But you and Justin say it, you guys sound classy as F.
Well, it's true, actually. Wow. I mean, I was born with plums in my mouth.
Did you guys ever think when you started this show we would be having a conversation like this?
About Justin having plums in his mouth?
Yeah. Or that you guys would ever have watched Crazy Fat Ethel 2. I seriously don't think you guys would ever have watched it if I wasn't part of the show.
I think that's
right?
It's very astute observation, Nathan.
But you guys still kind of like me, though. There's something about me. I'm like a mosquito. You can't get me to go away.
Well, we don't want you to go away, Nathan. We are a team, aren't we? We're like the Four Musketeers, aren't we? Of slasher movies.
Which one am I, Raphael?
Dogtanian.
Donatello?
No, Dogtanian.
Donatello Versace. That's who you are.
Well, I was thinking of the Ninja Turtles. I don't know the Musketeers very well. But I know the Ninja Turtles.
Do you not remember Dogtanian and the Four Muskehounds?
Yeah. One for Roland, or for one.
Oh, that's one of your classy movies you watch in Britain, Justin. We don't watch those in the South.
That was a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
We watch... You know what we watch in the South of the United States? Rob Zombie movies. That's what we watch. Okay? So you need to feel sorry for us.
Well, no, but you've got your rich heritage, haven't you, of stuff.
Of like,
well, I need to hear something. I need to hear you and Erik tell me what rich heritage I have. What is?
Well, they made Dear Dead Delilah down your way, didn't they?
Well, I mean, they did.
Evil
they
Dead.
did.
The Bell Witch. The Bell Witch is from Tennessee.
You're going with Bell Witch, Evil. All right. You guys won. I can't argue with it. You have classed me up. And
what about
when I've been this classy?
Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin, do you like Dolly Parton?
Well, yeah, I don't mind her. I mean, I wouldn't buy a record.
But you think she's a cool person?
Well, I know she's got her knockers, but apart from that, I think she's... What?
Did you guys ever go to Dollywood with me and Joseph? We could go to Dollywood and go to like roller coasters and stuff. When are you guys going to visit the States and we all meet each other? I've talked to you guys for 10 years and we have never met in person.
Probably when there's not a fucking pandemic going on, Nathan.
Yeah, the pandemic is...
We'll wear masks.
The brakes on things.
We'll wear masks and it'll be like, this is Joseph. This is Erik Tully. And this is Justin St. Pierre.
Well, I think what is it, Dollywood? Is it?
It's like an amusement park.
Yes,
theme park. Yeah,
but is
Justin,
it kind of?
You came to the States in the late '90s. Why did you not meet up with me and Joseph? Is it because you didn't know us?
Well, I don't think I knew you because I was there.
You didn't know us.
I think he kind of. We had talked a couple of times at that point because I know he was hanging out with the Blue Iris.
If you ever come back to the States, Justin.
But I don't think he knew us enough to hang out with us, Nathan.
No, well, I stayed
Justin
with
ever comes back to the States, we're meeting, and that's all there is to it, Justin.
Of course.
I will fly to wherever you're at.
Well, I'll tell you the funny story. Not funny story, but because I stayed with the Blue Iris in New Jersey, and we went to Voorhees, New Jersey, and Haddonfield, New Jersey. So... And we went to because the thing I was I love America, and I'd love to meet up with you guys. It would be great. It's just we obviously get the pandemic out the way,
Eric, I want to meet you too, though, Eric.
I know, but we
show
need
up too.
We need no pandemic,
guys,
and we need money.
This actually reminds me, and now this is a serious thing. This actually reminds me, and I told them I would do this. I do want to give a shout out to one of our listeners, Leo Dean. Yes, he's been very gracious to us. He's
sweet. Thank you, Leo.
He's been a very sweet guy. I just want to say I appreciate you listening to the show, Leo.
Leo's a great guy. He really, and I'm not saying that drunkenly. He really is a good, loyal fan.
Yeah, Leo shares in our agreement that we should all get together at least once to record an episode in person. So if you're listening to this episode and oh my God, if you've liked what you've heard so far, and oh my God, kudos to you. Kudos to you. You can listen. You can support us on Patreon. I promise a lot of our episodes are coherent, unlike what you're hearing now. You can support us on Patreon. You can support us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. We do appreciate all the Patreon support right now. Also, be sure to watch our videos on YouTube. That helps us keep the show going as well. So, Nathan, you can go ahead and take it away.
Okay, you guys, please understand that I have muted myself when I knew I was going to drone on and on. I knew I was.
Is your mute button not working?
So I tried to make it less annoying for you guys and for the listeners. Okay, I've tried very hard. So please, even if I've annoyed you, please understand that I've muted myself so many times just so I wouldn't be annoying, because I'm trying very hard not to be.
You're not annoying. I mean, in fact, actually, Nathan, you are the life and soul of this episode. I think
I feel like I've been ingratiating myself onto your guys' opinions, and I want to make sure that all your opinions are stated and out there, and I've not interrupted you and made you annoyed about it.
We definitely understand your pathos, Nathan, and we can just say you are completely unwarranted in your paranoia. So let's get on the background info.
Well, before we get to background, let me just say that I really did understand what a lot of you guys said to me. You said, try to watch this with an open mind. And I really did. I swear, I tried to watch it with a fully open mind. And like I've always said before, I think Rob Zombie is a great director, but I'm just not that into his writing. So, I mean, that's kind of what I got to say to you guys that asked me to give it a good shot.
Now,
I love the direction. I'm not a big fan of the writing.
Rob Zombie as a person, he's an awesome guy. I mean, he's a vegan. He's very tolerant of others, other people. He genuinely likes horror films, so he would be a person I would want to talk to and maybe chat with for a couple of hours. But Rob, if you're listening, I doubt you are, but who knows? You seem like a great guy, but I can't get into your movies. I'm sorry.
I do.
Anyway, let's get on to background information.
Okay, I'm thinking I am the only one with background information. Am I?
Well, Justin said he had some as well. So.
All right.
Oh,
but I have nothing, and I'm sure Nathan has nothing. So you guys go ahead and battle it out.
Well, Oh, sorry. No, you go for it, Eric.
No, you go first, Justin.
No, you do. I insist.
Oh, okay. Well, apparently, Julien Maury and Alexandra Bustillo, who made the film Inside, which a lot of people love. I'm not sure I'm totally on board with Inside. I think it's part of that extreme horror movement that I wasn't.
Really, Eric? Because Justin loved that movie. Justin, I know. Did you not give it a huge, great rating out of on?
Whoa! Wait a minute, Eric. Did you say you're not a fan of the French film Inside?
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Oh, now that's kind of what I would call extreme horror, but I actually like that one. I think it's very entertaining.
The one I liked of that movement was Martyrs, but Inside, I mean, it doesn't bother me like Halloween 2 does, but I don't like it. Yeah.
No, Martyrs is worse. Oh, what, Eric?
Martyrs, I understand where Eric's coming from. Joseph,
I thought Martyrs had a really strong ending.
I'm sorry, Eric. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I thought Martyrs had a really, really strong ending, and it's got sort of ideas behind it. Where I thought Inside was just a bit tedious. It was.
I mean, I disagree with you, Eric, on the tediousness of Inside, but for Martyrs, I understand where you're coming from, because I think to myself that the movie in general, when you see what all is going on, I mean, I find it quite fascinating.
Can I ask you guys real quick, Justin? I'll let you. I'm sorry. I'll let you go ahead. But I just want to ask Eric and Justin specifically. After this episode, are you guys considering quitting the show?
No.
Be quiet. I am trying to be.
I know.
If we're still recording this podcast in January, then yeah.
Listen. We've been doing this show for 10 years, and we've. I'm just going to go ahead and guess here that we've probably gotten on each other's nerves at some point. We've probably done stuff some of us don't like, but I think we got a good thing here. So I hope you guys aren't going to quit after this episode.
Well, no, we're still recording a specific episode in another 3 months, which feels like it.
Can I be honest? And Eric, please don't get mad at me. Can I be honest? And Eric, don't get mad at me.
Boss.
Oh my God, we're at that point of the evening.
I felt like some of the picks that I did drove you insane.
No, the only one that drove me insane was
Axum. I did not pick Axum. That was a listener pick.
Sorry, Eric. One more thing, and I promise I'll mute myself, and you guys can talk forever. But Axum, we should blame David C. Millay. And David C. Millay, I'm giving you a shout out here, and I'm going to go ahead and say this because I'm drunk. Guys, if you're listening to this episode, please, I want to see at least 100 subscribers to David's channel on YouTube. It's called Mole Station. It's a great channel. He has a TV series called Everybody Dies, where he reviews those direct-to-video.
I especially was worried when I picked Don't Go in the Woods or Splatter University, because Justin gave that a really bad rating. But when you guys rewatched it, you actually had a lot of fun comments about it. So I'm like, hey, maybe you guys are a little more open to bad 80s movies than you are bad current movies. Is that fair to say, Justin and Eric?
I would say definitely, in so much that I think judging Splatter University and Don't Go Into the Woods against Halloween and My Bloody Valentine is one thing, but judging them on their own merits, as in bad fun movies, then that's a completely different kettle of fish, as it were. So I think we've had a lot of fun with the Nathan picks. I know some people have said to us, "Why on earth are you wasting your time watching that trash?"
Hey, why are you? Did you the people really said that?
Well, my mother did. But I was going to say, Nathan, when I was last talking to Liz at Buckingham Palace, she was saying, "Why on earth are you watching that shit?" And I said, Liz, you don't understand. Nathan has a certain type of southern charm. And
Justin, did you mention me to the Queen of England? Because I am so excited. I need you to be honest with me. Did you mention me to the Queen?
Well, I did. I was with the Queen. We were at a garden party at Buckingham Palace, and we were doing a Ouija board, and we summoned Princess Di. She didn't have very nice words to say about Liz, but Di said that she enjoyed Axum and Don't Go Into the Woods.
Eric, you know that Axum was one of the movies that made you almost go away from the show.
Yep.
And and I'll be honest with you because I'm very drunk right now. I was terrified of the idea of you leaving the show because I think you are amazing. I feel like all of us, the reason our podcast has been kind of popular is we all kind of feel a piece of the slasher puzzle.
Well, I think it's fair to say that Erik is the heart and our soul of the show, don't you think?
Rude.
You whore! Go fuck yourself! You're a cheap whore.
Well, thank you. No, but I think we all provide. I think it works, doesn't it?
Justin,
I think
you're the leader. I always think of Justin as the leader, and Joseph is kind of the Raphael, Ninja Turtle wise, because Joseph is kind of the sarcastic one. Where Erik, I find, is very intelligent, so I find him to be the Donatello. I would be the Michelangelo.
It's awesome because Raphael is the badass of the Ninja Turtles, so I'm the badass of the podcast. Oh yeah.
So, well, no, I think we are at the ugly cry section of the podcast,
I said this
aren't we now?
25 minutes ago, but background for
Guys, it's good that we talk to each other like this, though, because we're not drunk very often. So how often do we talk to each other in the drunkenness?
Talk for yourself.
Justin, that sounds like you're being rude. Are you being rude?
No. I'm just saying that we're not drunk very often. I was saying, I'm not drunk that often. In fact, actually, I was doing Sober October, and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 drove me back to the vodka. So, and I'm back on the wagon from tomorrow until Halloween.
We said this last podcast, but we didn't say it this time. What are you guys drinking during this podcast?
Well,
I am drinking the Nathanians, which I think we've already talked about.
We have.
So what are you guys drinking?
Well, I'm going to go and fix myself a drink. Can I do that?
Yes. I'm drinking a Orchard Pig cider. Pink
Is
cider.
it good, Eric?
It's quite nice. It's very low percentage alcohol. Sorry?
What's the alcoholage percentage?
4.5. So that's
But
why
Eric,
I'm not. That's why I'm not that tipsy.
Eric, you seem very alcoholian to me, or is that because I'm not?
Yeah, and I always am. I mean, in the early days of the podcast, we would record. We're recording this late at night, so it's fine to be drunk. But there were times where we record at 11 a.m. and I'd be plastered. Even when it wasn't a drunkcast.
I'm always afraid, and this is because I'm very insecure. I'm always afraid that, like, when I miss an episode, you guys are going to think, "Oh, we can do episodes without him," and you'll kick me off the show.
Hey. I don't like it when anyone misses an episode, and I had not missed a single episode until the fan. And I was so this sounds silly to a lot of people, but I am so invested in this show. This show is basically my full-time job now. I was so upset by missing The Fan, which is a movie I don't even really like all that much. I mean, I think it's okay, but I was so upset by missing that episode that I literally sulked in my office for 12 hours, just kicking myself that I missed that episode.
I felt so bad about missing Alone in the Dark and Dolly Dearest that, like, I was literally depressed. I was very depressed because I kept thinking to myself, the guys are going to wonder, why couldn't you do it? And I couldn't do it because I didn't feel well. And I felt so bad. And I cried over it very, very much. Eric and Justin and Joseph.
Jostin.
Yeah,
well, speaking of full-time jobs, that was one of the reasons that I was thinking of leaving the podcast when Axum came along. Because first of all, I was finding it very difficult to find the time to watch the films, and then I was on kind of a 7-day week-ish at work, and it was just difficult to find time to record. But that's changed, and certainly it has changed since March.
Are you glad, Eric? Now?
Yes. What? Yeah, now about the podcast. Oh yeah.
Well, I was going to say, Eric, in a way, the pandemic is kind of giving you more time to do the show. Although what you said earlier, and I agree with you, Eric. We were talking, and guys, you were getting the full, raw, unedited version of what goes on behind the scenes here. Eric was talking about how we love the show. Honestly, we love doing the show, but sometimes we do get a little frustrated because we've been doing a lot of commentaries recently. And we've done like 5 or 6, maybe overall in the past month and a half, we've done like close to 10. And Eric was getting a little frustrated because he couldn't do any kind of his own TV watching. He was missing out on a lot of sci-fi stuff. So the fact that Eric hung in there and went through all this and keeps coming back for more and more. I mean, guys, I hope. Basically, what I'm saying is, I hope you're enjoying everything that's going on with, obviously with Eric. Sorry, Eric. The other thing I was going to say during that whole Axum thing, when you were so busy with your 9-to-5 job and everything, was there ever a moment where, like, before the Axum episode, where you thought about like kind of leaving?
No, I don't think so. It was just around that time I was working overtime at weekends every weekend, and it was just becoming difficult because this was pre-pandemic times where we couldn't really do midweek recordings unless we wanted to do them at 2:00 in the morning for myself and Justin. So,
well, I think we can all agree if any one of us left, say, like, for instance, if any one of us left, like, for instance, if you left, Nathan, then we just replace you with David at C. Mole. No, it's a little joke.
But Justin, David C. Mole, he is amazing. Here's the thing.
He broke up nearly broke up the podcast.
Fantastic person. But I don't know that you would replace me with anybody that would love the unloved 80s slashers the way that I do. Hey, did Joseph tell you guys? I want to know. Did Joseph ever tell you guys that I was whining really bad to get on the show and be a permanent member?
Yes, Nathan, you're making this up. Here's what happened, guys.
Joseph, I was whining to get on the show. You know I was. I whined because I really wanted on it.
Maybe you were, but I don't remember. Here's my recollection of the show. Justin, Eric, and myself, we did Happy Birthday to Me, and then we did the initiation. And then for my pick, I said I'm going to pick April Fool's Day because I love April Fool's Day. And I know Nathan loves that movie so much. So I said, hey, guys, would you mind if I invite Nathan onto the show? Because he's a great fan of the show. And I figured, it'd be a good idea to get
I did like the show, you guys.
American voice on the opinion of April Fool's Day. And then once Nathan was on the show, Nathan and I went running as we used to do. And Nathan, I think we should do that again. That's beside the point. That's beside the point. But we were running, and I said, hey, we had a good time on the April Fool's Day episode. Would you consider coming on full time? And he said, yes. I don't recall
Did you guys discuss that beforehand?
Yeah, we did. I sent Nathan,
Eric and Justin.
Justin and Eric a message. I said, hey, guys, this is what I said. I said, hey, guys, would you care if we went from 3 to 4? Because I think you guys are European, and I think it would be, a good idea if we had another American voice to kind of balance it.
Very true.
Since you are, for better or worse, Nathan, since you are my quote unquote best friend, I figured, it'd be good to get you on the show since you love these films as much as you. So Nathan may have whined about it, but he didn't whine about it to us. Maybe he did to himself.
God, this is turning into the War and Peace of.
We will get to Halloween 2 background after this, I promise. But do you guys remember when Justin sang, "Forgot my keys, Louise"?
That was Eric.
No, that was Justin. It was Justin.
Justin sang that because it was a Christmas quiz, and I was like, "Hey, Justin, what does Annie sing in the movie?" And he was like, "Oh, forgot my keys, Louise."
What the fuck?
Yeah. Justin, I was exaggerating, but that's not that far off of the truth, there, Mr. Kurzweil.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of like, it's kind of something like it's.
Wait a minute.
It's like a scullery maid in Downton Abbey got a constipation.
Eric and Justin, you guys go into background. I got to go tinkle, but please let's get into background.
Yes,
please.
Let's get into background. Okay, so
all right, go ahead.
The guys who directed Inside were originally approached to do the sequel, but they turned it down. And the directors went with Rob Zombie instead, who was convinced to come back to do the film because he liked the idea of being given free reign. He felt an obligation to have certain elements in the first one, seeing it as it was a remake. But on part 2, he felt free to do whatever he wanted, and Malik Akkad, the producer, encouraged him to do so. So in the original ending, which I think is in the theatrical cut, Michael grabs Loomis and stabs him to death before being shot through the cabin window by Brackett and impaled on a rake. And apparently released from her visions, Laurie walks over to Michael, who hands her his knife to kill him. The shed door opens and Laurie walks out wearing Michael's mask. And later, Laurie sits in isolation in a psychiatric ward, grinning as Deborah's ghost approaches with the horse. And I presume setting up a potential Halloween 3, A New Beginning.
Do you guys like that ending? Do you like it?
I don't like any ending to this film. I like when it ended. Is that the same thing?
Justin, did you like that ending with the horse?
Well, I like a happy ending, so I wasn't really fussed about either of them.
No, you don't. If you liked a happy ending, you wouldn't say Alice was dead.
No, I think he's insinuating something else, Nathan.
Okay.
Happy ending you get with the massage, for instance. No? Okay. I'll move on. Dag Farch. Is that how you pronounce his name? He played the young Michael Myers in the first film, and apparently he filmed scenes for part 2 as well, but he was replaced and the scenes were reshot because he had grown up too much in the 2 years since the first film, so he didn't really match. Had a $15 million budget. It started filming in February of 2009 in Atlanta, Georgia, which is not too far from you, Nathan, is it? Georgia is the next state.
I'm like 2 hours away from there. That's so cool because I've been to Swinging Richards, which is a bar in that general area.
It sounds like a dirty bar. Swinging Richards.
No, Swinging Richards. It's also known as Swinging D's. And I'm not going to say what the D stands for because
Dolores.
That is beneath me.
Hey, wait a minute. I live on Dolores Drive.
I know. I noticed that today.
So Joseph is one of the dancers there.
Yeah.
What, the swinging dicks?
It's one of those places where a lot of guys strip off their clothes for money. And I'm not judging. Where is my place to judge?
What the fuck? I'm a dancer now? What?
Well, dancer stroke stripper.
You lived in...
well, I don't know.
Do you say fuck a lot?
Georgia and the Swinging Richards Apothecarium.
What?
Well, that's a chemist.
You don't know what it means.
Erik,
if you were classy, you'd know.
Erik, do you have an apothecary table?
I do. From what's the place called?
Apothecary
Pottery Barn. Pottery Barn.
She hates Pottery Barn?
Is Pottery Barn a real place?
Yes,
okay.
It is.
I thought it might have been made up for Friends. That was a Friends reference, Justin. Sorry. This film was released in North America on the 28th of August, 2009. It debuted at number 3 behind The Final Destination, which was the 4th in the Final Destination series.
That was a good movie, though, Erik.
It was, and it had amazing 3D. A much better movie than this. Inglourious Bastards was number 2 in the chart that week. It earned just shy of 40 million worldwide, which is half of what the first Rob Zombie's Halloween made. Halloween 3D was supposed to follow this. It was supposed to... It sounded like they're trying to go for a Halloween Resurrection here thing, because it apparently retroactively established Laurie to have killed Loomis instead of Michael.
Oh my God.
And
That's
Patrick,
crazy, Erik.
Yeah, Patrick Lussier. Yeah, so he was set to direct it. And let's see, what else was it supposed to do? Michael... Oh, yeah. After leaving a trail of bloody destruction, Michael is set on fire and disappears, with Laurie then committed to an asylum. The first act would have wrapped up loose ends from Zombies Take, and then the rest of the movie would have been closer in tone to the 1978 original, with Laurie being stalked in the asylum by a ghostly Michael. It would then also have been revealed that Michael's mask melted into his face following the fire, so he would have had sort of a mask face.
I would have watched that.
Like Toya.
How rude.
Justin, that's going to upset Erik.
I hate you.
I just told Justin that was going to upset Erik, that he said awful things about Toya.
He did say awful things about Toya. And apparently in an interview, Taylor Scout Compton, what's her name?
Scout Compton, yeah.
Whatever her name is. Sorry, that sounds disparaging. As Justin said, she's a perfectly good actress. It's just unfortunate that she was in the 2 Halloween movies and the April Fool's Day remake, which is a classic in comparison to these movies, in fairness.
Can I just say real quick, Erik, you're talking about Scout Taylor Compton. Okay, this is against my nature, but the one thing I did, and the one thing I did like about Halloween 2 is that I kind of like that. Even as dysfunctional as it was, I kind of like that Scout Taylor Compton and Danielle Harris kind of used each other as a support system. I was kind of glad that they kind of had each other to lean on, even though it got dysfunctional. But
it got dysfunctional. It just was dysfunctional.
Yeah, it was dysfunctional, but it at least shows me that there was some forethought.
Laurie wanted to scream and yell at Annie for something that Annie had nothing to do with.
Yeah, anyway, carry on, Erik.
Go ahead.
So she said that she was signed on for Halloween 3D, and in retrospect, she's glad it didn't happen because she didn't want to do another film that didn't involve Rob Zombie, and she didn't like the direction it was going to take. Personally, I thought it was going in a much better direction, but hey ho, that's just me. And that's all I have. So, Justin, you have some stuff, don't you?
I have a little bit, yes. I've got one review I'm going to read from, but also John Carpenter apparently was offered a cameo in the film, but he turned it down. How true that is, I don't know, because I don't think John Carpenter was particularly kind about the Halloween remake from 2007. So it's whether or not that was the case, I don't know. But the review I have. As you can probably imagine, the film didn't get particularly good reviews, but this one's from The Times on Friday, September the 4th, 2009. It got a 1-star review, and the title said, Halloween 2 is the epitome of stupidity. So as you can imagine, it's not possibly the best review. By Devon Heller, he says, I'll just read a couple of paragraphs from it. He says, there are so many terrible aspects of director Rob Zombie's latest horror flick, Halloween 2, that it's a wonder this ill-conceived sequel ever made it to the silver screen. A follow-up to Zombie's gritty revision of John Carpenter's classic Halloween, this film was destined to fail simply because its predecessor's cut and dry conclusion. Whether you're a fan of Zombie's version of Halloween or not, the fact that this film's villainous, knife-wielding psychopath Michael Myers was shot in the head in Halloween cannot be ignored. So do we remember in the first film, because obviously not watched it since we reviewed it last time, is Laurie shot him in the head. Is that right?
Well, but I just never felt like that mattered that much.
I felt like it since I didn't remember it, and it's really hard to remember such shit that it doesn't matter. So whatever.
Okay. Well, it's also the review goes on to say, in a plot with more holes than Swiss cheese, Loomis's character reformation comes across as a futile attempt by Zombie to overwhelm viewers with yet another depraved and cynical personality. Zombie, who also wrote the script for this film, seems entirely infatuated with the degeneracy and immorality within his characters. His portrayal of the Myers family as dysfunctional was needed to explain why Michael became the monster that he did, but for Loomis and others to follow the same path to corruption seems rather redundant. The plot of this film is befuddling because it has no cohesiveness. So I probably would agree with that in so much that, everyone in the film is either a cipher. They don't really, like the two girls that Laurie hooks up with, the friends, have no personality apart from being shrill and jumping around and listening to Kick Out the Jams by MC5, and that's about it. There's no... or they're despicable. The only kind of character I think actually rang slightly true, even despite what you're saying, Erik, about his little aria, was the Brad Dourif character. He actually felt, out of all the characters...
I actually kind of...
Even when he sang?
Well, no, because but he wasn't a bad character, was he?
Yeah,
no.
I actually thought he was a decent character.
Yeah, he was, in fairness.
Loving. He felt loving. He felt protective. He cursed a little, obviously, because it's Rob Zombie. I mean, come on. But he was, compared to the rest of the cast, he was fairly subdued.
Well, exactly. So, there is more background, but it's, we're already like gone 2.5 hours so far of the podcast, is this the longest one you've had, Erik, in the last couple of years? I think, isn't it?
I've tried to be quiet, but God.
This is the longest episode we've had in like 2 or 3 years, honestly.
Not longer, yeah.
So it's full of it's all killer, no filler, or is it the other way around? It is what it is, and it's a drunk cast. And if you're still with us at this point, then thank you.
I just kind of hope that, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, I think I said this like 25 or 30 minutes ago. It may have been 16 hours ago. I don't remember, because it felt like we've been recording for like 16 hours. But I said this episode is either going to make us super famous or it's going to kill off the rest of what we got of our listeners. But I'm hoping for the former. I'm hoping this episode will be so crazy that people will just be instinctively, compelled to like just keep following us. I don't know. I'm just drunk.
Well, it could go either way.
I think all I can say is it can't get any worse. Oh, hold on.
Justin, that almost sounds like a compliment or an insult.
Whoa. Who's doing the joke of the week? You got to play that clip all over again because we talked right through it. So play it again, Justin.
That was my finely honed joke.
Well, I heard the joke.
Oh, for goodness sake. Done it again.
God almighty.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. The joke was good, but 3, 2, 1, go.
It's my joke of the week. It's so freaking fantastic.
What is Michael Myers' mother's favorite thing about the festive season?
Heather fleece coats.
Yeah, how did you know? What? No.
Yes.
She likes a Christmas cracker. Christmas cracker? A Christmas cracker?
Crack horror. I got it. Good one. I like that one. Took me a second, but that was good.
Well done. Thank you, Erik.
Oh, that's for you.
What was that?
That's Belch. That was for Erik.
I thought it was Nathan. I thought we'd finally follow through.
No, I've been very classy during this whole thing, Justin.
Nathan is so out there, but he's his bodily functions. He keeps a tight rein on them.
Yes, I do, because I'm classy.
And typically, I do keep a tight rein on my bodily functions. But when I'm drinking, which is very, very rarely, my bodily functions tend to come out. So if you guys hear, like, obviously you've heard belches, but if you hear a fart soon, I can't help it.
Well, I think we're going to wrap this up quite soon because I think if we've one takeaway from the show is that Nathan is classy.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you.
By the way, you guys should tune in for our Algonquin where we will talk about the Halloween 2 episode.
Are we going to do
commentary
soberly?
Well, I'm just kidding. I don't know what the Algonquin is, but can you imagine if we did a running commentary on this episode?
Can you imagine how meta that would be if we did a commentary on our own commentary?
Hey, you might be onto something, Joseph. It may make us transcend space and time.
I'm
itself.
Justin. Justin said that, not me.
Okay, Justin. It could transcend space and time itself, Justin.
Wow, it's like Buck Rogers.
It is. Our sapphire.
Do you have a lot of cats trying to get food right now, Justin?
No, actually, it's not too bad cat-wise because I've opened my back door and the cats have gone out.
You have, you dirty little slut.
Justin, are you like susceptible or like do you acquiesce to like pressure? Like someone says, "Oh, we found this cat and it was abandoned." Do you immediately feel the need to like adopt it?
I would like to, but we've got too many cats as it is. The reason we got so many cats is because it's the colony of street cats that were here that have just moved in. So
how many of your cats actually live indoors of the 13?
I would say we feed them all, but probably half don't stay with us, and about half do.
Oh, okay. I get
so they're not all living with us. But
because when you said I had 13 cats, I was like indoors. Oh my god, I've got 2 cats as of today. So 13. Oh my god, that would be so crazy.
No, it's not so bad because they come and go. But the cat we brought over from England, he's passed away, and the cat we adopted passed away as well. So we've just got all these cats that know each other, and they sort of turn up. But obviously, when we eventually move into our house, then we're going to probably have to take them all with us because they're all kind of relying on us.
I got you. Justin, one more question before we move on. Do you have any of the original cats from when we started the podcast still living with you?
No. Well, sadly, Argento, who was famously made an appearance. No, he unfortunately had organ failure, which is kind of liver failure, or kidney failure, which
I didn't even get to meet that cat, and that cat was great.
Yeah, but he's passed away, and Martino he died as well, very sadly, and he was a young cat. So no, I don't think we do. None of the original cats are left, unfortunately.
Well, actually, I have a cat that I got around, I guess around the time we were recording Girls Not Out, which is like in the 50th or so episode of the show. I got a cat named Ginsburg, which I still have.
Oh, and
it's the only cat I had from the show. And today or yesterday, I got a cat named Mocha. It's a tiny little kitten that was abandoned. It looks like a cup of coffee, so I named it Mocha.
Oh, no, it looks very sweet, little pussy. So
hey, and you know what, Justin? I love sweet pussy.
Well, Nathan, you still awake?
I am still awake. I'm listening.
Okay, well that's fine. It's just like you haven't said anything which is out of character.
Well, because I've been listening.
Okay. But are you sobering up or are you still drinking?
Sobering up.
Well, that's all good.
No one should be sobering up. We're not quite done with the show yet. You got to keep drinking until the show's over.
Are we not? What have we got left to give for the show?
Well, okay, let's see. We did Recently Seen.
Mm-hmm.
We did Halloween 2. We did Halloween 2 background, and now it's on. We did Eric's Joke of the Week. Now we got social media stuff. We've got what's on the next episode, and then basically signing off. So,
okay. Well, what did our dear listeners think, Joseph?
Okay. Out of 189 votes, which may be our highest number so far, 23% of our listeners and well-wishers enjoyed Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. 17% were neutral on the film, and the remaining 60%, that's a high number, and I appreciate that, did not enjoy the film. And our listener of the week is
Drum roll.
Rob Balducci, and he says, I remember seeing Halloween 2 in the theater and admiring it for its originality, but also its simplicity. Simplicity? I don't know about that, but he goes on to say, think what you may about what Rob Zombie did with his first Halloween film. I personally love it, but I was glad that he got the reboot thing out of his system and just focused on continuing with the characters he established and making a fun, gory sequel. Now, Rob, I appreciate your comment, but I would completely disagree with that. But as controversial as it may be, I thought hearing from the opposite side of the coin from this show would be interesting. So thank you, Rob. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Patreon. And we thank each and every one of you, as always, for your Patreon donation, although I think we may lose some after this episode. And our email address is info or feedback at thehysteriacontinues.net.
Well, thank you, one and all, for sticking with us. And I think this has been. I was going to mention Margot Kidder. We haven't mentioned Margot Kidder, who was in Halloween 2. And I did find an article with her, and she was talking about why she took the role, because she said that she had a rule for only taking positive roles, as in positive movies. But she said she liked the script, and she said that they forget that she was a scream queen with Black Christmas. Is it a reincarnation of Peter Proud? I don't know if that was, maybe it's a different one. And The Amityville Horror. So she was kind of reinventing herself as a scream queen. So, but we feel like we have been in a session with Margot Kidder for some of this movie, and I think we've all come out of it in a positive way, haven't we?
Yeah, can I just say, there's a moment where Scout Taylor Compton is talking to Margot Kidder in the film. Well, I wouldn't say talking, more or less screaming. Where Scout Taylor Compton's like, "Please write me a prescription." And Margot Kidder says, I'm going to write you a prescription for Haldol, which is short for haloperidol. I'm going to go ahead and say I have my oldest brother, he's 51. He's mentally handicapped, and he takes Haldol. And basically, Haldol is for split personalities. So I don't think Lori would need that drug. She really needs like a muzzle and horse tranquilizers, if that makes sense.
Ketamine.
Ketamine.
Well, yes. I mean, I would be interested to know what Scout Taylor Thompson, Piddy Bompson, or whatever her name is. Sorry, that's all. But Scout Taylor Compton. That's the one.
Oh my God, Justin, how drunk are you?
Well,
Nathan and Eric and myself have been completely subdued up until this point.
I am catching it. I am. It's finally kicking into my bloodstream. Anyway, apologies to Scout Taylor Compton. Is what she thought of the movies now. I'd be interested to know. And actually, we have an interview with her coming up now. Except we don't. But it would be interesting to know what she thought of the movies now, because
Compton, has she done anything else aside from the Rob Zombie Halloween films?
Yeah, she's done quite a lot. She was
April Fool's Day remake.
Yeah, and I also saw her in. I saw her in the one with Beyonce, the Psycho one with Ali Larter. Can't remember. It was kind of Obsessed or something. It was the Beyonce thriller with Ali Larter from the Final Destination movies, and she was a psycho, and also had what's his name who played Luther, and she was the babysitter in that. Sorry.
Idris Elba?
Yeah, she was the babysitter in that who fucks everything up.
I just say Allie Larder is so hot. Oh, Allie, if you're listening to the show, I doubt you are, but Allie, please give me a call. My number is 1.
Have you not seen the one with her? She plays the From Hell personal assistant with the Beyonce movie. And Idris Elba, she's kind of like basically gets hot with Idris Elba. Yeah,
that's Allie Larder is the psycho. Who was she playing in that movie?
No, she's a psycho in it.
No. That's Allie Larder.
That's what I'm saying. Ali Larter's the psycho in that movie.
Yeah, who's Scout Taylor Compton in that movie is what I'm asking.
Oh, she's the babysitter. It's a very small role.
Oh.
She's the one that lets Ali Larter into the house at the end of the movie because she says that she's come to drop off some Rice Krispies or something. I can't remember. But no, she's been. I looked her up, and she's been in a lot of things. I mean, I think she's in a lot of things in the same way as Danielle Harris is now. There's lots of kind of low budget horror movies, which is not disparaging in any way because obviously Nathan is a patron saint of low budget horror movies. But there's nothing disparaging about that. But I think she's found her groove in those. I think.
Nathan, I want to ask you something. Nathan, are you still with us? Nathan?
That's a no, I think.
Oh, no. What's happened to Nathan?
Nathan, I got a question for you. Nathan. Are you still there, Nathan?
Nathan has left the building.
So even if we disconnect, you're still going to hear this. So, I mean, this is going to be like a 4-hour episode. So should we try to get Nathan back on the call?
I think we're just finished, aren't we?
Yes, well, I think Nathan is on the call, but I think he may have a date with a porcelain throne.
By the way, I don't really remember what I was going to ask Nathan, so we can just move on. Go ahead.
Well, let's let's draw it to a dignified close.
Well, we still got a couple of things. We got what's on the next episode, and what else did we do? What else we done background?
Just what's on the next episode.
Yeah, and that's it.
That's it.
I guess it's my pick. So Okay, yeah. My next pick lands in November, which we do have a Friday the 13th for. We are all out of Friday the 13th films. So we're going to do the Friday the 13th fan film, one of the most popular ones, Never Hike Alone, which recently got a sequel with Never Hike in the Snow. I haven't seen that yet, but we're gonna cover the first fan film, Never Hike Alone.
Well, should we do both of the films if they're both?
Well, sure. I mean, I don't mind if you want to do both. I'm open to it.
Well, it's kind of is it the same director? Did both?
Yeah, and the good thing is that Never Hike in the Snow. I know Never Hike Alone is like almost feature length. It's like a little less than an hour, but I think Never Hike in the Snow is like 30 minutes long. So I mean, it'd be easy to do both.
Could you imagine if we could only dream if this podcast was only 30 minutes long? But actually, I'm looking at the clock.
Podcast is 3 hours long. This is like the Pieces episode all over again.
It's coming up for 3 hours long. So, that'll be a fun one, and we'll be sober, hopefully. I'm trying to work out where Nathan is.
I'm just picking up the Nathan mantle since Nathan's no longer with us. So.
Well, Nathan's showing he's on the call. This is a bit like one of those social media horror movies, isn't it? Where one by one we get pulled off.
Well, Justin. Okay, listen, guys. I'm picking up Nathan's slack since he's not here anymore. Justin, why are you always doing that? Like the double entendres, like the Nathan's getting pulled off, or Erik likes one in the ring. Why are you always doing that? Why are you such a upstanding, classy British man?
Because Nathan thinks that the British are very classy, and some British are classy, but there's also the saucy seaside postcard British, the Carry On movies, which is very much more, I would say, identified with like the British thing of, sort of the saucy postcard, naughty double entendres is more British to me, more relatable than the upper class having a garden party with Liz.
Do you guys want to know something? And here's my theory. I used to be roommates with Nathan. When he got really, really, really drunk, he would tend to pass out. So I think that's what's happened today. I think Nathan might have passed out.
Well, I think I need to. I have trapped Stuart in the bedroom for 3 hours, so I think it's only fair I liberate him. I have been passing him up beers, so it's not like Anne Frank or anything up there. He's all right, but. So I think we probably need to sign off because Nathan is still showing that he's online, but as they say, he may be face down in his keyboard.
Do you think Stuart might actually do you think he'll ever join us for an episode? Well,
I don't know because he's kind of like I tricked him to watching Dolly Dearest. And he quite enjoyed it, but he's got the thing is he's kind of one of these people who's kind of said, I lived through the 80s and I watched 80s horror movies and enjoyed them, but I don't need to rewatch them. I mean, we've got friends who come around and we watch sort of the Friday the 13th movies and sort of the kind of My Bloody Valentine. He watched those and he quite enjoys those, but when it gets to more of the Nathan side of life, then
what that supposed to mean?
Oh, he's back.
I'm listening. I'm listening to what you guys have to say.
Where were you?
I was listening. What do you think I was doing?
Fuck, you weren't listening. You were asleep because I sit there. I
was listening to what you guys had to say.
Nathan, are you asleep? Nathan, you didn't answer. Bullshit, you were listening. You passed out.
I was being polite.
Well, when I say Nathan's side of life, I'm talking about your kind of picks, like the, Crazy Fat Ethel or The Forest or, those kind of movies. That's where he draws the line. Oh, that's all. I don't mean there's no shade. There's no shade there. It's just kind of he doesn't find enjoyment in those, whereas I do. I kind of.
Justin, is there any Nathan pick that he actually has kind of liked?
Well, I'm trying to think.
There's been a plenty.
Pardon?
I think there's been a plenty.
No, I don't think. I think that a lot of them I wouldn't. I think he enjoys the kind of the bigger budgeted sort of like the more flashy ones. I think but he likes John Waters kind of movies and he enjoys a bit of camp and stuff. But I think there's a certain person, and we're all amongst that person that kind of enjoys the kind of the lower budget 80s movies. And I think if you have managed to get to hour 42 of our podcast thong, then you probably are amongst those people that enjoy those movies. But it's kind of are we turning to Jerry Lewis?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm sorry, Justin. I'm drunk, so please forgive me. This is not at all what I expected. I expected to go into this podcast with Erik completely dominating this show, and that's not what's happened at all here. Erik has been so subdued. I'm so disappointed in you, Erik.
I can only apologize. It is nearly midnight here.
Yes, but no, I think Erik's been what's the word for it? The guiding light.
Sensible
He's been like the Virgin Mary. Okay, he's been guiding us towards the light.
Erik, the next drunk cast we do, I don't know what it would be for because we've covered the shit, but the next drunk cast, will you promise to be extremely drunk? I mean, you need to outdo Nathan on the next one.
I don't know if I could do that.
Well,
it's not that possible. Get close.
I'll try.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think this has been a rounding success. I think it's been an epic. I don't think we've we went this far as in lengthwise. Since we haven't with the last drunk cast, we didn't go quite as long, did we?
I don't even think it was this crazy. I mean, this has been a crazy episode.
Well, I think we're all sobering up now, so the hangover is kicking in.
Speak for yourself, Justin. I'm not even getting started.
Well, it's like as Erik said, we are moving towards the witching hour, so I think it's probably time to sign off. But you okay over there, Nathan?
I am.
Well, I'm glad. Have you had a
so subdued now, and I sound so like Nathan-y now. It's like,
I'm
happened?
listening. I'm listening.
So anyway, I think we need to sign off now because we're getting into that K-hole, I think, of the podcast. And yes, join us next time for Friday 13th fan movies. And I think we'll be talking about fan movies in general and whether they're a good idea or a bad idea.
An episode after this. I think this is it for us.
No, we will come back from this. We are resilient.
We will be sober.
We will be sober next time. So, well, thank you for listening. And we're playing out Erik with
The Moody Booze.
The Moody Booze. And possibly a few other things thrown into the mega mix. But so I think it's time to sign off. Don't you think? So anyway, thank you for listening to this Drunkcast. And we will be back sober and better than ever for the next show. And we have plenty to get you through the rest of 2020 and into the next year. And who knows, the next decade, because we are going nowhere. So thank you for listening to the Hysteria Continues, Halloween 2, Rob Zombie special Drunkcast. And anyway, that's my radio voice. And just to say goodbye to the sober people.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye, sober people.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I just want, in lieu of my goodbye, I just want to say, I hope you guys enjoy the episode. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with it, but enjoy it.
Well, I think you've probably got the next year of your life mapped out now to try and get this.
I don't care.
No, we do it for the art. Or something. So anyway, cue Moody Blues.
Nights in white satin, never reaching the end.